So, good evening. Welcome to Chaos Wargaming, and say hello to Evan. And we're joined by the lovely Ryan, King of Fishcord and the VTC. So, hello, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
So, we're like late by a week. The plan was sound, but things happen. Yeah, we wanted to just start talking about team events, and well, obviously the VTC is the main thing. So we're going to go over a bunch of stuff about the VTC itself with Ryan. Both me and Evan have played in both of them. I assume, Evan, you're signed up for the next one, right?
I believe we are. Team South Africa should be signed up.
You are, but they might have.
You have actually been signed up to this one.
Yay! That sounds like a win.
So, yeah, my dogs are currently going crazy in my office. So
I can hear.
Give me a second, and they should be launched into the other room.
Love and life.
But yeah, so let's start off with hi Ryan, thanks for coming on, and give us a bit of an intro, mate. Let's know generally about you and Warmachine, and then we'll veer into VTC itself in a minute.
Fair enough. So I'm Ryan from the Fishcord, one of two of the main people. The main person is Tom, and then we've got a bunch of other helpers and people as well that help out with it. But in terms of Warmachine, I started off middle of Mark II, I think, just after the Colossals and stuff dropped. I don't know where that is in terms of the timeline and stuff.
It's about like the back quarter of it.
I can't even remember if Colossals existed when I started. I'm not sure which side of it was.
Colossals came out about like a year and a half before the end of Mark II. They were less than half. They were less than half of it. They were less than half of Mark II.
Because we had the second lot of Colossals announced by the last year. So yeah, so when I started, I was just a little babby. Remember going to my first convention, having to have a guardian with me. I wasn't old enough, so I had to share a room with people working in our local store. But yeah, I've started off with a bunch of random factions, then finally finalised on Menoth, played them forever, and then started dabbling my toes into Crucible Guard a little bit. So yeah, in terms of stuff now, before COVID, me and my friend Dean went to a bunch of events to do a bit of try hard and see where we can get and things. We ended up qualifying for WTC, and then sadness last year happened. That didn't go through. And then,
so did you have a spot on Roses, or did you not go as far as the selections?
Me and Dean were on the third one.
Yeah, Roses,
yeah.
So
Ben Thomas's one.
Yeah, I was literally going to say, is that Ben Thomas's captain?
Yeah.
He's a good egg.
Lovely chap. Yeah. And then obviously COVID happened very shortly after that. I think the WTC was cancelled as well.
Yeah.
I think it was within like the first 2 months of COVID getting big, it was cancelled. And then we kind of felt like people were missing out on playing games by the first couple of months. And
I do like that description of COVID was getting big. It sounds like a music star that's just like broke into the big leagues.
It's a great excuse for anything nowadays. So
I mean,
strong.
Yeah, COVID's first album was a little shitty, but they really found their groove on the second wave.
Yeah. But yeah, we started off with some Vassal events on Fishcord. They were all. Don't know if anybody remembers Vassal at this point.
I did play Vassal.
I do. Yeah. Oh God, yes, I do.
I still had some lists saved on my desktop.
I still talk about Vassal whenever I come across someone I know that hasn't played on Wartable. I'll frequently be able to reference Vassal and go, "Can you remember Vassal?" And they'll be like, "Yes," but it'd be like yes.
Yeah.
Like imagine that, but more polished.
Yeah, basically, imagine that, but designed for the users rather than.
Imagine that if it didn't suck.
It was great. Like it's a hard thing to get right.
It did the job at the beginning,
and obviously it was around for like a long time before Wartable, right?
Oh yeah, it was going in Mark II.
Yeah.
Vassal was. It wasn't updated hugely often, but it was still updated.
Yeah, so absolutely, like I think without Vassal, I assume there wouldn't be a Wartable. for people to like envision that it could work. So
that's fair.
I'm glad for Vassal,
came from.
but I'm also glad we're not playing Vassal anymore.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I remember the first we did online. Brad Park decided to get some of his American friends to wake up at the crack of dawn for it. And this was back in the Vassal days as well. And distinctly do remember the first round when Baby Michael woke up and was playing against Chris Clare with, I think it was Gorshade 4, with all of like the halberdiers and stuff, against like Kruger 2. And I just remember just Chris laughing, just be like, enjoy feeding now, and just watching Baby Michael have to move everything on Vassal. He did not have a good time.
Oh no, that's awful.
Yeah, we then so after the WTC cancelled, me and Steph, for people that still remember Steph, was talking about things, and we was like, well, we could try to run something online. Shouldn't be too much hard work. Turns out there's quite a lot of stuff that went into it. Yeah,
that's some famous last words.
Yeah, we had a bit of a committee though the first time round. I managed to very easily convince Tom to do some bot stuff, which then led him to basically be a committee member as well.
Right.
Yeah, so we did the first one, and the results for that were mixed, but mostly positive. I think there was some bad stuff that happened, but
as a player, like from my point, it just seemed like a
overwhelmingly
success.
positive.
Like I can't remember anything negative about it. So
yeah, there's a couple of people that had some issues with it, but at the end of the day, criticism is always something you need to look for and see how you can improve and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not that bad. And then second, decided to do another one because Steph being Steph was very eager to do things. So we did one. I think it was about, I don't even know, it was 6 months later, to be honest. That one went a lot better. And I think we got to a point where people were starting to mock the judges for not getting there quick enough to the games.
Like you could like have a 10-second stopwatch to get like a judge result right. It was pretty fucking cool.
It was damn near instantaneous. Yeah. It was really impressive.
There was one point last time where absolutely horrendous. I remember Steph was on stream. Dean was very deep on tiebreak entering results. Tom had a really complex question with taking control of the model under Axis's feet and things. So he got absolutely stuck there. And I think at this point as well, I was trying to cook lunch at a barbecue outside. So I lit the barbecue. I had to come running.
You had like half of the team over to your house to like physically.
Yeah, so I had. So I had Dean and Tom round at ours. Whilst we was doing all the judges and stuff. So I was trying to do lunch. By the time I come back from that 10-minute of absolute rush, like imagine like a Christmas rush retail store. That was that period of time.
Right.
By the time that finished, Brady turned up. I was like, "Oh, hi guys." I was like, "Well, you're a bit late." And then half the meat on the barbecue was a bit burnt. But bar that, the second one went very well.
That's unfair.
Yeah. I got to play a game of Warmachine that day as well. If anybody turned up really early to the VTC, we streamed the game poorly. Yeah, so we decided after the last one, everything was starting to open up again. However, there was still quite a lot of places that weren't opening up. So we was like, people enjoyed the experience. We might as well try to do another one for those that still can't play as many real-life games as they want to.
Yeah.
Because not everyone's in a fortunate position to be able to go out and play do stuff anyway. And for some like family people, Wartable suits them anyway in terms of being able to get the games and stuff in. So it was like, we'll give it another go. We know it's going to have less numbers than the ones before because people can get out and play real life now. Yeah. But we was like, we still like to give to people that we can, and the only thing we really wanted was to make sure it is still the same experience. Was we had at least 16 teams, just so it still felt like a proper tournament setting. Yeah. I feel like anything less than that, it kind of ruins the experience for previous ones as well. Because in terms of the actual events, they were quite large. So I feel like for the actual people that did win in it and stuff, for them it can feel like an accomplishment as well. So
yeah, so it was just to touch on that.
That's fair.
There was I'm painting if you're watching on live. I'm painting while we go. So if you see occasionally my airbrush going to shot. So the first event was won by All Gas No Breaks, right?
Yeah, that was Brad's team.
I was going to say an All-American, but it wasn't right. It was an American.
No, it was an American. It was
John Henry.
I think they had 2 Canadians.
A Canadian, at least.
Yeah, I think there was 2 non.
They had 2 Canadians. So John Henry was one. I'm not sure. I can't remember the names of the others.
Mark Andre in their team.
No, Derek.
Is Attilio American?
Attilio's American.
Is he? Yeah, he's here. Yank. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Attilio's.
I can't.
I think it was mostly American, and then the second time round. Yeah, and then the second time around, we got rid of the whole country restrictions because it was like it's an online event anyway. Yeah. Let's do something a little bit interesting, get people that aren't usually going to be able to play together. And then we kind of had the super team led by Baby Michael that won the second time round.
What was that team? That was 4 men and a baby, right?
4 men and a baby, yeah.
I'm
trying to remember the name.
But who did not go undefeated at the event. Who beat them?
Michael did. So
who beat that team that won?
Details.
Could you remind me?
Nobody actually knows that team was lost to obscurity. We have no idea.
Yeah, I believe it's the team that hasn't signed up to this one because I keep on forgetting. For reference.
So the team was Fishcord Wibbly Wobblies.
Yeah.
Which is Welsh
is
slang
Is that how you pronounce it? I kept calling it Peasgod. Okay.
Yeah. I frequently would listen to just see who would butcher it most, and it was just a never-ending gift.
You know what? I actually feel nothing. Welsh pronunciation is a bit of a hoax anyway. I stand by my pronunciation.
Yeah, Fishcord Wibbly Wobbly. It's like Wenglish. It's Welsh slang for jellyfish. Not actually jellyfish, but it's same as Poppity Ping is microwave. So welcome to Warmachine Welsh lessons.
Welsh edition.
Welsh edition. Poppity Ping. That was a close second to our team name. But yeah. So I know Baby Michael's you guys signing up so we can have some grudge matches. So I know Terry's watching the stream. Terry, just harass the rest of the Welsh boys. If there's a team to be had, it needs to be. They need to get on it. But yes, obviously that was another success, right? That was how many teams was
a roaring success.
Was the second one?
It was a bit more. I think we were in the mid to higher 20s for that. So I think we increased by. God, I think it was about 5 to 6 teams on the previous one. Because the first time around, it was quite a new thing. And then, because I don't think at that point Fishcord was that large in terms of the events that we had. So that was quite a big increase and stuff. We still had to have the pair up and pair down process, hence why the top team didn't go all undefeated. But it was a case of if you don't hit that point, you've got to do something to ensure that the rounds go. Yeah, and I think it was fairly clean in terms of how it was done.
I think it was. Yeah, cracking event.
Yeah, I'd also like to point out. I mean, you were saying run it for people who aren't necessarily getting games in person, but I have to say there's a bit more to it than that. Even if you are getting games in person, the ability to kind of bring together people in a tournament who are on opposite sides of the world is genuinely amazing. I love that aspect of VTC.
Yeah, I mean, for some teams, that obviously that's not even something they think about. But I mean, in terms of the teams that you've run for the last couple of years, you've managed to get together a bunch of South African people as well, haven't you, to join in on the fray?
Yeah, but I've got to meet people and play folks from the States, from the middle of Germany, wherever, without having to travel, and that's also been incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a single bad person online in terms of any of the players that do these things either. Every single person I've met online has been an absolute gem in terms of things.
It's been really great.
Yeah, I've had some fantastic events.
A great little community that has come out of it. But yeah, I mean, it's it's just the freedom of things as well. Because I mean, not everyone gets to qualify for the WTC as well. So
yeah,
and not everyone has the luxury of, if you can qualify, being able to afford it. I mean,
yeah,
in terms
especially like you look at like the North Americans, it's like a huge like money investment where you've got to take like a significant like time off work to be able to travel over. It's like, you know, $1,000 in plane tickets before you look at anything else. Like it's a real investment, and obviously being able to just pick up, you know, a laptop, I guess a tablet, right? You can play it on the tablet. I wouldn't
want to try.
I wouldn't want it. I know some people have. Like Luke's played it on a tablet.
Yeah,
playing casual. But
I've attempted on a phone once, but I think I got to the end of deployment and I gave up. Like this was when my partner was in hospital, like before the whole labour thing, and I think I had to sit there for about 7 hours. So I asked someone online.
Was that how long your deployment took?
No. It's just that's how long I had to, because I don't have a child during COVID. That's all I can say. Like, it was a terrible experience. I was not allowed on the ward at all. So I was literally sitting out in like...
Oh, wow.
In the cafe sort of thing.
Yeah, my little metal chair. I was sitting there for about 12 hours. Luckily, Brady was online, so I was just speaking to him for like most of it. But yeah, it's not a good time. But yeah, you can play on most things. So it's quite accessible to most people, apart from like the older ones that take a bit longer to get there.
Yeah,
let's catch on a little bit. I'm sure that's you, Evan, at this point. I know Yarn was quite bad to begin with.
I'm aging quite badly, quickly.
But yeah, it's very user friendly, especially when we did the first one. I think Wartable just came out, so it was quite a big leap to go to Wartable over Vassal, because you had none of the shortcuts in there at all. At this point, it was just a case of
a lot of the early stuff came in within the first couple of months, didn't it? Like after events started happening.
It was really impressive how quickly Wartable was adapting. Like someone would make a recommendation, and if it wasn't stupid, like within a couple of days that was live.
Yeah. Like I remember the whole AOE auto deviation thing coming in just made such a huge difference to the games.
That's
almost to the point now.
Favorite feature.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah. Like we're almost to the point now where I feel like you could potentially look at lowering the clock on Wartable, because it is that polished. Is that polished now?
I've got to tell you, I find it's cleaner than playing in person. That's not a good reason not to play in person. I think in person is still just a more fun game. Like I like the toys, but in terms of a clean game, if you're the kind of person that never wants to paint your toys, who just wants the pure puzzle of the game, like I think Wartable's better. It's cleaner. You can see what's going on much easier. You'll never have a model hidden behind another model or behind a house. Like, yeah, it's just cleaner.
I can see that. Yeah, I love the fact you can just put whatever list. There's no restrictions. You're not like, oh, I don't have that model, or that model's just come out and isn't available in Europe.
Yes.
Or I don't own 9 Toros and I don't want to buy 9 Toros until because this might be some hot garbage, or it might be gold, which then will get nerfed too quickly. So
because some Chinese people have stolen the Toro kit,
yeah. And hello, Chapter Master Cantor is saying hello to us. By the way, he's asking what we're painting.
Hey, Pedro.
What are you painting? You're painting the biggest ugly pile in Warmachine, right?
Yeah. Oh, what the hell's the stupid thing's name? Harvester of Souls.
Yeah.
Sounds like Indiana Jones.
The spray one.
So it's this little special. Let me see my camera if you can see what the hell this thing is. You can see so little. It just looks like brown and white.
It looks a little bit like a
crabs.
Turd.
Yeah, big crabs.
And I am painting.
It's a massive crab.
I'm painting my Witchwood proxies. My 3D printed Witchwood, so they're like a creepy tree with 14 lanterns on. I might need to cut a lantern off each
God.
tree because I kind of like the idea that there's 13 lanterns hanging off this creepy tree. So,
very cute. Like nobody will notice that. That's just purely for you.
Yeah, it would literally be for me and for every opponent I ever play and tell them about.
Because you will not. Will that be part of your pre-match?
This is
ramble.
We'll pause to score CPs, and this is the story behind the. Yeah, I'm painting. I've got a couple. I say a couple. I've got some more models to paint this weekend for the team events coming up, where everyone else in my team is fully painted and hoping to get in with a.
And they have shamed you. They have paint shamed you into following suit.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got 4 more heavies to paint and a caster.
I have 4 heavies to paint
because.
Is it not just the same heavies in every list?
Well, yeah, but
it is.
It's just the same list, isn't it? Pretty much.
It's the same 4 heavies he's been neglecting for how many years? Is the right answer?
Basically, any living heavies the Grim can have that you never used to play because you took Crocuses instead. Now they're cheaper, and the stuff that goes with them is cheaper, so it's worth having. But yeah, I've got to paint 2 Skinnamones, 2 Cage Rages. Finish off 2 Witchwoods, finish off 2 Caskim, 2 Wild Archons, and the Wanderer. So you'll have this open on Twitch as well, right, Evan? So you can see what I'm showing on screen. So here
I haven't at the moment, but yeah, let me take a look.
There it is. I'll get a bit closer. That behind. There is my current second Defiles, who's now looking very tasty. Just in monochrome at the moment.
That's very, very cool.
And,
I need my.
Gonna do full fluoro paints, all of like the weird spirit stuff between its wings. So it'll just be.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go like fluorescent and object sort lighting crazy on my Grimkin at the moment. That's where I'm heading. Pretty interesting.
It's always nice to have some like paint technique that you treat as your experiment for an army like that. I treated my Infernals as my non-miss, my NMM kind of. Let's teach myself everything I can with this one.
How did it go?
So really well until I got to Omadamos and hated my life.
When I was on Ret, I almost did. Did Metallic Metal. I was doing like a gold and royal purple, a bit like sort of Praetorian-esque with a gold royal guard. I was when I had like 20 sentinels and stuff, and I realised when I was doing my test model, it would just be the most miserable experience of my life trying to do non-metallic metal on that many infantry models.
So with Infernals, it was great because it's only really the solos that actually have metal on them.
Yeah.
So for most of it was really fantastic. I loved. I mean, Valen Hark was such great fun to paint. I loved that. And then I hated Runewood because he's a fucking turtle. He is clad head to toe in goddamn steel.
Yeah.
And I will never stop bitching about this. He's clad head to toe in steel in his armor 14. That'll never stop pissing me off. And then you've got Omadamos, who's basically the size of 3 heavies and is just all metal.
He's basically like a Norwegian like metal band, all squished into one dude in the woods. And he comes out at the end of the weekend of filming their recent album cover. That's what.
Basically. So yeah, I mean, honestly, it was a great army to paint. I enjoyed that thoroughly. I've just got this.
I might
bastard.
pick up a few just to do paints on them. I want to do like a Cthulhu-esque style. Do a lot of like water effects for the bases and lots of like purples, blues, and greens as like the palette. Very, very much like Dagon.
Yeah, I mean, you can have so much fun with them. Like,
I've got my
it's a
painting,
good faction that way.
My list of things to do just because I want to paint is hella long. So
right, it'll go on the list.
Let's jump back to Ryan and talk about. So we've gone through the first 2 VTC. They were cracking successes, and we're coming up. Obviously, is it February? Right, the next one.
Oh, you make me look bad now. I have to look it up. It is. Yeah, it says about
20 something.
26th, I think. 26th, 27th. Yeah, it's last weekend of February.
Cool.
So what's the format going to be this time around? So, or for people that didn't watch.
Yeah, so the one thing we have struggled with every time is trying to get a time that is perfect for everyone. And I think it came down to this year. We basically come to the conclusion of, sadly, we can't please everyone, and unfortunately, somewhere down the line, somebody has to effectively get.
Yeah, someone's got to be up early or up hella late.
Yeah,
up ridiculously early. Yeah, so
it's a worldwide event, and someone's just got to eat it. Unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, and it pretty much came down to a case of I was looking at where war sign-ups and stuff were. So it's starting slightly later this time in terms of the day. I think it's like an hour to 2 hours later, which means in the EU you're finishing a little bit late, but you're not going past midnight, so it's not too bad. But it's a lot better for the Americans. Like, I'm pretty sure at this point now, none of them should be waking up before 5 a.m. I think the earliest is like 7 a.m. that people are waking up now, because there was quite a lot of Americans that did turn up.
Brad will probably wake up at that time just to get a couple of extra games in before it starts.
Yeah, just to hype himself
up. It sounds about right, but yeah.
But yeah, so obviously it's starting a little bit later. We're still going to do the league week going up to it. So first round gets done over a course of a week. We really liked how this worked in the past, and in terms of any stream games that have been done, really helps us to bring up the hype in terms of it. Like the amount of, I don't know if, because you did quite a few streams the second one, didn't you?
I did like 20 games in that week or something ridiculous. I had I had a few games on the calendar where I'd stay up until about like 3 a.m. streaming some of the Americans playing, and then then my next stream would be starting at 6 a.m, like the next morning. So I probably tried to squeeze in a lot of content so people could watch as many games as they could. Because I was playing at the time, so I could only do my games really, or I could have streamed extra games while it was going on, but it was it's a lot more of a faff, right, for me to set up extra Wartable windows and make all that happen while I'm also trying to sort out my own game. And
you've got to keep an eye on them as well. Like, you don't want it to be a game experience as well.
Yeah.
Like, I remember I did the first year. I did the first VTCs, the week build-up one, and that was a lot of streams and work. But the viewership, that I don't know if you had the same thing, but the viewership was so high in that early week.
Yeah,
like, so many people were joining in to watch the games and stuff, which is a really nice experience. It builds up the hype.
And I mean, the experience of it is also amazing. Like when everyone's watching games, playing a whole lot. Like I remember that first week leading up to both VTCs, but particularly the first one, was just incredible with how many people were just getting together to play and experience more of the game.
Yeah,
that was not a small thing.
Yeah, it was pretty nuts. And then so we got that, and then afterwards we're going to be where a pair up has to happen now at this point, so there could be a potential for 5 rounds still. So what we'll probably do is stick to 2 rounds on the Saturday and then 1 to 2 rounds on the Sunday. I personally think that if you go any more than 2 rounds in one day, it's too much for people. Like in terms of how long the games are anyway, it's a lot harder on people looking at the screen for that whole time. I know for some people they don't care, like Paul Sheard will play Wartable all day long, but for some people it can get quite draining and taxing on them. So it's just making sure that they get a good experience and it's not wearing them out. So we stick into 2 in one day because it feels like a good number of games there anyway. So so that's pretty much the format. And then on the last day we'll announce the winner and stuff. Obviously, we have to make sure and check all the standings and stuff before everything goes live to avoid. I think there was a drama the first year in regards to the standings, but so get all that stuff done, and then people get to, in quote, go home for the weekend.
Not just go home when it's just walk out the room.
Yeah, when you disconnect from a call. Yeah,
it's pretty cool. I was super looking forward to it. I was saying before we went live tonight, the Welsh team haven't currently signed up. I'm assuming that I'd have a spot if we played. We played like a bunch of team events over COVID together. But I'm like, but at the same time, I'm like, if I don't play, it means that I can basically devote like a good chunk of time, and especially in that week run up, and I could just do like a load of full on commentary games, which I think are a lot more entertaining to watch, a lot more worthwhile. Like, I think people that like watching Wartable games online will watch them, and like get like I get like okay viewership. Like I'm like 100 people watching the games. Over like
with commentary, it's a massive difference.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's
being able to know what's going on,
especially for newer players watching as well, right? Who want to learn from
it
as well as obviously seasoned players will recognise a lot of the models if they're playing on Wartable, but if you're going in blind, so I won't be super sad if I don't play. That's potentially a really good resource for people to watch back, especially if I'm commentating and grabbing people who aren't playing to come and join me. A good amount of fun. So that might be my actual plan. We'll see.
Worst case, just do both. Just stream a bunch of games.
Is that all?
Last week, and then
if I just like played ridiculous assassination casters who are all or nothing turn 2.
You're done. You're done at the end of like 40 minutes, and then you can stream.
Then your time to do other stuff. So that'd be interesting. Yeah. So you got like enough players at the moment, right? Signed up, and
so we've got enough for the minimum to get it to go forward. I think there's still some teams that haven't signed up, which are supposed to be signing up. So we're just going to give them a little bit of extra time in regards to that, and then next thing looking at is the payment stuff, and then making sure everyone's in the server.
How much is it? If people are watching and going, so there's no requirements for nationality. If you're watching, you can just play with.
No, so you can play with
wherever in the world they are.
Yeah. As long as there is 5 people, you're good. I have to look up another thing. Why are you doing this to me?
And I imagine if there's like 4 of you, then have a little look at like the Discord servers and like the Facebook groups. Because if there's only 4 of you, you'll be able to find someone that will want to experience it. It's such a good fun thing. It's having a team event from the comfort of your own home. Pretty fucking unique. So yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, don't be one short and give up. Be one short and make a new friend.
I mean, there's always the potential as well that there's going to be other people looking for players. I know in Fishcord, in the Fishcord server, and if you're in the VTC, so you've done previous ones, there is a channel in there in terms of looking for players. So if you are 1 or 2 players short, or you're looking to play but you don't really know who to approach, just put yourself out there. Go in there.
Put a message there if you're on the Fishcord server. If you get on the line of sight server, I'm sure you'll be able to do the same thing. Like, just advertise, find people. There's plenty of people, find someone.
And even if you don't know the people, like, I'm sure there's multiple times where people here have gone to team events where you don't really know the people.
Yeah,
like, it just goes. It's still a pleasant experience at the end of the day. It's just such a unique experience to a team event anyway. Like, I'm pretty sure I've turned up to every team event I physically can because they're just so good.
Yeah.
Speaking of one of the resources, and we were mentioning the servers, particularly Fishcord. Do you want to tell people a little bit about the amazing work Tom did, just making Fishcord the resource it is, just in terms of the card databases and being able to just drag judges in whenever you need them.
Yeah. Before I do forget, tickets are 20. So you're looking at £5 per person.
Oh yeah.
So £2.50 a day, I guess, even though you've got the league week and stuff. But yeah, so we felt like it was very fair for people. The only issue you might have is if you are on a random team, being able to sort out payment, but it still should be something that you can sort out, I guess.
It shouldn't be too difficult.
Yeah. But yeah, so in terms of server stuff, so it's a bit of a mix. So Jack Brady is the person that did all of the shipmate stuff. So
right.
in terms of Mapbot and the card database, that's the stuff that he was mainly focusing on. Unfortunately, he's not been able to do any work on the card database sort of side of things because, as far as I'm aware, they've still not updated it. That is basically restricted to the point in which he needs that to go live before he can do anything.
Yeah.
Right. But he's willing to do it, so literally it
happens. They're doing it slowly, so I don't know whether it's a case of they're just literally like doing a couple of cards like every day or every week. But I know Fane mentioned it was going to be a manual thing because they don't have the infrastructure set up to
yeah. Yeah, which is fair enough. I mean, I've seen the sheer amount of stuff behind the shipmate card stuff, and that does not look good behind the scenes. I remember I had to help Jack at one point just move some bits. It was just,
yes.
Oh God, there's so many files. So yeah, he's got all of that stuff. You've got Brad Clark, who chucks a bunch of maps into the shipmate map thing every so often, which just makes it even quicker to play a game of Wartable because you don't have to bother about making a table or anything. Everything's done for you.
In terms of shipmate, I'm just going to describe it a bit for anyone who doesn't know, because it really is an incredible resource. If you hop onto the Fishcord Discord channel and you just type in, and he's given them a lot of aliases, you just put in a square bracket and you type in the name of a card you want. And then you close the bracket, you hit enter. And it'll pull up for you pretty much.
Yeah, it pulls up the entire card from the card database.
And if you don't remember the name, like it'll pull up aliases. So if you put up Haley, it'll give you the option of all the Haleys.
Yeah, and it's changed.
Pick which one.
It's changed a little bit throughout. So Discord added in, I think it was to do with slash commands and stuff. But in terms of, you can now it just looks so much prettier now than what it was before.
Yeah,
for all the changes and stuff. There's a bunch of hidden stuff in terms of things on there as well that people probably aren't aware of. So you've got a bunch of Who's the Boss stuff on there for randomly up casters and stuff. I believe there is entire working spell draft and caster draft on there from when we did FishCon previously.
Oh wow!
Cool.
So yeah, there's quite a lot of resources in there. There's some rule stuff in which Tom's also put a bunch of rule stuff into Corgi as well for the famous stuff of slams and throws that no one knows how to do. I believe you can get up the entire timing chart as well for a command. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. They've both put a lot of hard work into it. I know Jack might slow down a little bit now because he started uni, but I'm sure if anything happens, he'll still jump on and get it done pretty quickly. So yeah, and then obviously we've got the judge team on Fishcord, which has slowly been growing. So mostly there's a bunch of people that we know, and then I think we got to a point where our events were getting quite large to get to us to help out.
Yeah.
Because at one point last year, I think we had a couple of events that hit like 100 people online, which was pretty huge.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty nice. Lots of tie-break work and admin stuff there. But, yeah.
That's the stuff you want to offload on someone else, right? Delegate
well, we don't offload. Tim is so good that by the time that there was literally a running joke at one point, by the time me and Tom went to go put in results, Tim had already done it. And we would get frustrated that we could never put it in because he was so active on it and so good with it. Yeah, like honestly, he is so good in terms of doing stuff behind the scenes, Tim. He's always there to help out and stuff. And I feel like we've got a pretty good judge team in terms of like rules knowledge and stuff. Yeah. Especially with how wacky the rules are in this game. It's like,
I mean, they're they're so hyper specific to so many things.
Yeah, there's so many bold things. Like before COVID, most people probably wouldn't know who Tom was. Don't get me wrong, I'm pretty sure he was one of the only active for him under Lanu, but the amount of stuff that just comes up, like he's taken to judging so well.
Yeah.
In terms of things. Because beforehand, I think he judged the one team event that you came down to, Evan.
Yeah,
I think so. I think that was his first judging experience, and then I think he just really enjoyed it and just carried on from there, really. But yeah, we've got a pretty good team. We've got Tom. Obviously, if you're from the UK, everyone knows Barry. Barry's pretty good.
Oh yeah, we all know Barry.
In terms of judging and stuff. So Brady helps out every now and then. You've got Dean. Dan Price helps out a bit. And Steph used to help out quite. Brad.
Yeah.
Bit of Paul sometimes as well. Seth helps out quite a lot in terms of the VTC stuff. Which I can't remember the name of his event now. Boca Brawl? Is that Seth's event?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, from a player experience point of view.
Yes, yeah. Absolutely lovely guy. Like the first time I met him. Lovely.
And from a player experience point of view, like all this expertise you're talking about, what that translates to is just if you've got a problem, you just basically send up the bat signal and a judge is there to sort you out like in record time.
At a judge, at symbol judge, race there. A lot of you.
I don't think I've ever waited for an entire minute for a judge call.
Yeah, I think there are some times in which, if you play at really obscure time, like if you're an American and you're playing like UK time at like 4 or 5 a.m, you might have to wait.
I mean, that's understandable.
Because there's quite a lot of us are UK based. Even then, I'm pretty sure certain people would hop in, like from the American side of things. So yeah, like it's something that we've always been happy with in terms of like our and stuff. We're pretty happy with how active we are.
The league sort of style games before as well. There's been like a timetable, right? So there's always been someone available. So if you do have to like arrange a game with someone in like Canada and you're having to play over in the UK and it's like 3 a.m, then there's the possibility that someone will be available to give you a judge call at a drop of a hat. Yeah, which is pretty. Yeah,
exactly. In that league week,
they might be a little bit.
We pretty much have
a little bit grumpy.
Someone to hand at all times. Yeah, for the VTC, I know Seth did a pretty good job in terms of the handling the very late on slightly American time zone stuff.
Yeah,
and he's a pretty phenomenal judge as well, to be fair. So
and that's one of the the great things about how Wartable and things like these online games work is that the judge calls are so much like more straightforward, right? You eliminate like the judge calls you have an event. You basically like eliminate a good must be like good 80% of them because most things at an event are how far away is that or can I see that? And both things you can immediately tell Wartable.
Somebody that's now done event stuff in real life as well, because obviously we took to it afterwards.
Yeah,
9 times out of 10, the judge calls in real life are, can I see this model? Do I have line of sight? That is basically what they are, and then you'll just have the occasional rules question.
Okay. Like if I land there, am I just in or just out? Like, well, you literally just look at the screen. It tells you.
Most of the time, they just want reassurance because at the end of the day, when you're playing games, you want both people to feel happy. Yeah, exactly. You don't want one person to be annoyed and the other one to be happy.
Yeah. So talking about judge calls, what's been the most ridiculous judge call or the most entertaining judge call throughout the VTC that you've had and then that the team has had and then talked about? I'm just going to make you use your brain a little bit.
I'll give you what I felt like was a pointless one. There was a Vlad 2 player for the weekend. For some reason, didn't want to remove any clouds from the table. He felt like he wasn't allowed. So every single time he cast I get rid of the cloud spell on Vlad 2.
Oh no!
He'll get a judge to come in and remove
manually do it.
Yeah. Which it was just like, you can do this yourself. He was like, yeah, but it feels better you guys doing it. I was like, okay.
Was
like,
that
okay.
anything because they didn't want to mess something up? Maybe like if you go.
Yeah, I think it's just to make things clean again. Really, like they don't, because as soon as you get onto that menu, you can start to move models and then back. So
as soon as
for us, it feels silly, but for them, it's probably just to make it clean. Yeah. So.
And the one weakness of Wartable is that there's no undo button.
Yeah.
Maybe I know.
Maybe by February there will be.
Look, that seems like a big technological ask. I wouldn't push for it.
It's a little bit like the Candyman, right? You say his name 3 times. You say a problem on Warroom 3 times into the internet, and it's fixed.
Is Lars, yeah, he's a lovely guy as well. So I think the wackiest one I've had was back when Wastelander first came out. The whole I bounce back the shot thing is such a stupid thing. So somebody was playing the Wastelander into Menoth. So some guys shot the shot at the Wastelander. They've then reflected it back. Passage is up. So passage means that the shot then just disappears into the void because they can't target the model.
Fuck's sakes.
Apart from the guy who was playing Resident 2, which I didn't realise till after I left the call. So it's like, so this is how it works. All right, cheers, bye. Then realised he's playing Resident 2. Spell Piercer was up. So it's a magical gun.
Oh no!
So I was like, I need to come back in this call now and explain it.
Come on!
Yeah.
I think that is ridiculous.
Yeah, I just kept on going back in. I was like,
I'm back.
Yeah, like, this is a very weird thing, but I think the first time round, there was a lot of Wastelander-based questions because he was very new and very wacky. Because you had the whole thing as well with, if you Wastelanded back the Gearhart slam shot, it just doesn't, you don't get slammed, you just, because of the way the gun works and stuff. Like, in terms of, because it's directly away from the model, whereas slam's different for every other thing apart from his gun.
Shit, but there's no directly away from his
Yeah, so it's just it's a very weird one. So I think that's the wackiest one that I've had. I know that Tom absolutely rinsed his brain on Axis Feet, and then there was a Dark Seduction, but like a Denny One player as well. And it was a case of what things do apply to this model at this point and what things don't.
Okay, yeah.
Because that was a massive pile, and I think it might have been Gatsby as well. So there's like a case of, do I get Dark Shroud, do I not? What happens in this situation? So I think he was there for a little while trying to resolve that one. And yeah, I was pretty happy when he came out of it. I felt it was pretty fine. But yeah, there was still, to be fair, quite a lot of line of sight Wartable that we had to do.
I'm trying to remember if the laser tool, whether that was actually
the laser tool's painful.
I hate it, to be fair. So the worst one that I had was, I think it was a Paul Sheard game, and I had a lot of these the second year round.
Paul Sheard games or bad game?
No, like these type of judge calls.
Just say yes.
So can I do this with this model? And I'm like, right, okay. And every single one of them revolved around me going to maximum and lining up the pixels. Just like it was that they were that close. And I think by the end of it, my eyes were just killing me. This is getting real bad at this point. And I remember after one of them, I was like, "Yeah, really sorry, Paul, you can't do that." And he was like, "Oh yeah, no, that's fine. I just wanted to see if I could get away with this." I wasted all this time on this.
I mean, the line of sight questions always used to drive me nuts. When I was on Wartable, until someone finally showed me that no, instead of pulling out that stupid laser,
you just copy your model.
You just copy and move, and you use the shadow that follows to work it out, and then suddenly it's all very clear and really quick. But until you learn a lot of those tricks, it's really slow.
Yeah, but as soon as you pick them up, it speeds it up and stuff.
As soon as you pick it up, you really begrudge doing the same thing in real life because it's nowhere near as quick.
There's a lot of things I begrudge going back to real games, and I'm like, these models.
Not being able to just click on my model and see the distance to every other model, I begrudge that so much.
Not being able to pick up like a lone jack amidst a sea of angels and move them flawlessly, instead of scattering my entire army like fucking Skittles across the table. I'm not saying there's a reason why I'm black on Grunkin and not playing Aurora, but There's a reason.
That's the reason.
It's definitely it's part of the equation. It may not be the only reason, but it definitely is a factor.
It is a big factor. Steve Cargill said, "Yeah, shenanigans in a Porsche game. Color him surprised. Yeah, it's good. Steve, you're there on the weekend with Paul in your team, right?
Have you seen that team? What a bunch of scumbags! I mean, they've called themselves like the People's Jank or whatever, and then got what looks like the try-hardiest minions pair I've ever seen in my life. I don't know if you've actually looked at it. Like, it is terrifying. And then you've got Paul Sheard with like false earrings.
Oh, sorry. So Steve's like the People's Champion from, if I remember, it's from like a Blood and Oil event, like however many years ago, where I think he was like the pair down, and if he lost, then it meant that we basically got to go home a round early, and if he won, then we'd be stuck for an extra round. And he graciously lost, so everyone got to pack up and go home like 2 hours early.
I mean,
so he became the
I don't understand your phrasing there. If you go to a big event, you want to play as many games as possible. Like, everything you phrased there is nonsense to me.
I'm 100% in your camp, but I know a lot of people that, like, after however many games will be like, I could
fatigued.
I could ditch this last round and go home early. That's not a bad thing. And like for Blood and Oil, Blood and Oil was my first like big event I went to because I was living in Leicester. I was a fat cat when I started playing Warmachine, so I was definitely happy to stay for extra rounds. Like, I was like, oh yeah, it'll take me 10 minutes to go home. I don't know why, right? I'm going to do a little quick segue. 10 minutes away from Blood and Oil, where I lived in Leicester. 15 minutes away from Sherwood. I've done pretty well. And when I lived in Cardiff, 10 minutes away from Faisal. I've done pretty well since I've been playing Warmachine and making sure that wherever I live seems to be 10 to 20 minutes max away from wherever there's going to be like good events to go to locally.
I am so jealous. It is ridiculous.
I've not like planned it. Like where I live now, like there wasn't anything when I moved, and because I don't drive, even though Sheffield's like really close, and Outpost had like a big Warmachine scene when I moved. It took me like an hour to 2 hours to get there, just because I have to go from my little village into like the nearest town and then to Sheffield and then across Sheffield. But obviously I don't have that problem now because I live in the sticks, but that's where our club is as well, and that's where Sherwood events are. So good way to live your life. 10 minutes away from club, 15 minutes away from events. But yeah, so it sounds like though, there's going to be I think a really good spread of people back for VTC. I constantly see people from the various like international chats I'm in, where people are like, do you want to play these games? Do you want to play these games? And I still think it's a fantastic thing to do. I can pick up a game with Brad when he finishes work in Vegas. If my kids are in school already, Brad finishes work, we can have a game. Or I can have a game with Paul and not have to go across the Pennines, in snow and fog and death roads. Or I can put down silly lists and go, let's just see if this works before I bother actually spending any money on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm wholeheartedly still a fan. If you haven't tried out Wartable before, absolutely give it a go. It's really well designed. It's very much user centered design. It's there to be intuitive, an enjoyable game rather than a slog. And maybe your first couple of games might be a little bit tricky to get used to it, but it's really well done. So you'll pick it up very quickly.
I have found that every new person I've introduced to Wartable has been like competent and fluid with it by halfway through the game.
Yeah.
I think the most I've seen is takes 2 games to get the good stuff down. But it's if you've got somebody that's good to teach you how to do it, you learn very quickly. Wartable.
Yeah.
Which is good. So we'll just do a quick summary if you're listening. So there are enough teams that the VTC is going ahead to 26th of February next year. 26th, 27th. Obviously, with the pre-round will start a week before. There'll be like list submissions. When are list submissions?
Oh, that's not just next year. That's later people's problems. So you got this all next year for that. Tickets will already come up next month in terms of things, because we've had to push things back just to make sure we've got enough players.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to sign up, get signed up. If you're looking to play but you don't have a team, have a look in the Fishcord server. There's a channel there where you can ask to see if people are looking for mercs. Or alternatively, if you're looking for merc, you need to use that. Or I'm sure other servers as well. You'll be able to ask for things in.
And once you get involved with that community as well, when you want to start getting in practice for your team and your pairings, like that same community you can tap into, and it's really easy to just get a game, meet new people.
Yeah. I need to at some point put some time into our Discord, which we basically just use for recording at the moment. But I wanted to do it essentially just to make my life easier for recording games where if people wanted to be streamed, they can just pop in, say, hey, I'm happy, and then if I'm at the PC or in the house, I can set.
So what do you actually need for that? Because I could just make you a channel in Fishcord. That is an option.
Not a lot, really. Yeah, we'll have a chat about it.
It just needs to be a private room, right?
Yeah. I can.
So you just need a private room, but
a bit like I was literally going to say like a private room where I can pop people's voices on and off to random people coming in and starting chatting once the game is mid-flow or something.
Yeah, that's fine. I can get that sorted out. There's no worries.
I finished the Wanderer's road markers while we've been talking about this. Good.
Oh, nice.
I say I finished them. They look alright. They're also going to get OSL like glowing purple from the cracks and
because it has just come up, which I have seen, and seeing as we're going to be going on to it in a second anyway. They're looking for a merc for this weekend. I mean, unfortunately, how do I play again, team? So if you're free this Sunday,
you know what team it is? Sorry.
How do you play this again? Is the name of the team?
How do you play this again? I'm looking for a merc.
Yes.
Sunday. I wonder if I can get a train up and sleep on Saturday.
The name rings a bell. That might be like my local guys. That might be Zai.
So it's Zai who can't make it yet.
Ah, okay. Zai was driving me, so I best sort something out. I know he was waiting to check. Like, I think his little girl's not really well.
Fair enough.
So what we're talking about here is the Sherwood team event, which sold out really quickly. Is this Sunday in northeast. Oh, fucking that's right. So our geography. Sherwood is in this like weird little place where it's basically northeast Derbyshire and it's South Yorkshire and it's Nottinghamshire all together.
So for anyone that's not in the UK,
it's Robin Hood country.
It's north of London.
It's north of London.
That's what it matters.
South of Scotland. in farmy lands, basically.
Farmy lands.
I don't know what Sai is doing for people that've got to have replacements, but I know he's super cool TO. So yeah, if you are available and in the area, and want to play on Sunday, then get in touch. I'm assuming he's posted it on the Warmachine UK.
Yeah, so it's in UK and in the Sherwood pages on Facebook. That's been posted on.
So Evan, do you want to come up?
Oh,
I do. I think it's a bit late to organise what the hell I'm going to do to get there. But I'll give it some thought.
Jump on a train, right? It's easy. It's easy.
I'll take a look and see what the train timetables look like.
I've got a pop-up tent. I'll stick it up in the garden ready for you.
I may just do that.
The dogs will totally leave you be. It'll be fine. I will talk to the wife and see if I can put you up for the night. I'll remember what we've got planned. So.
Come back on.
Yeah, we'll have a look. Anyway, so I think we've talked enough
about the team event this Sunday.
Yeah, we've talked enough about the VTCs. Let's talk about another event that is this Sunday. So yeah, so Sherwood, which is my local events, run by the immensely amazing Cy Robinson. We basically guarantees us 4 events at least a year. And he sort of put it out after the last Steamroller, which was the first one sort of post-COVID for us, and we had 39 players. Yeah, and like there were literally like a couple of people. I think there's like 10 people dropped the week before, and those spaces filled like so quickly, and then a couple
instantaneously.
Of people, and then a couple of people that were replacements then couldn't make it on like the morning, so it was too late to replace them. But yeah, absolutely like a smashing way back into Warmachine for us all, to physical events. And yes, he's running a three player team event. And we've got lists.
16 teams.
Yeah, 16 teams. I think it sold. Did it sell out the day you put them
I
out?
believe so. So there is one trend with team events in the UK, which is if you want to play in them, you need to find out when tickets are going on sale, and you'll have about an hour to purchase a ticket, because team events sell out instantly in the UK.
Yeah,
because we don't have that many.
Really sell out ludicrously quickly. Hey,
team events are cool as fuck. Quite frankly,
yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, I've done 3-player events. I think online. I don't think I've ever done a 3-player event in person. So.
I've done quite a lot of the three-player events. Because in terms of like the slightly smaller venues, you tend to get them.
Yeah, I've just done the one that you guys hosted down at Wayland.
Where you was famously late for.
I blame Jan.
It was so bad. Such a great story. Oh, sorry, I set my alarm for the next day.
Fuck me. I mean, look, we both took the same gamble. You took Delano and we took Jan, and frankly, either one of those could have made either of us a full day late.
Did they go out drinking together the night before? Because that would have been glorious, right?
We went into the cafe the morning, and we literally got a permanent marker and just started writing all over Delano's hand to not forget things. So he just had permanent marker in his hand for the event. I didn't allow him to have any drinks until we lost the game. He was not very happy about that.
Wow.
Did not throw his first match and be like, bye.
Yeah, I was about to say, like,
Evan the first round.
Your life. Ah, man, I clocked on that one. I was upset. I was
choking on some posse.
I was literally 5 minutes away from assassinating Maylock too. That was upsetting.
That does. But yeah, that was the famous moment where I'm pretty sure I rang you guys up. He was still like nowhere near. And I was like,
no, we were like halfway down.
Can you pick a number between 1 and 6 for me?
Oh shit,
and
I remember that.
For like the starting dice roll, and they didn't pick 6. And I was so baffled by that. I was like, okay. But yeah, so we had that one.
And Dan was doing that. He has a horrible streak of honesty for which he will never be forgiven.
Not this one. Not me. The different Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so 16 player team this Sunday. Very exciting. There's quite a good mix of factions as well.
So should we go through the faction spread, which I think when it went up was a bit of a shocker to people.
Yeah. So close your eyes and imagine end of Mark II.
This is like a Wayne's World. Oh man, I should have prepped this right. Let's do the Wayne's World time flash.
Oh god, yes.
The top faction being Signal was pretty weird. Then you had trolls.
Six Signal players.
5 Trollblood players. Unfortunately, one of them is dropping. So before.
Trollbloods isn't too surprising nowadays. Trolls are in a really good place.
It's not, but I mean, Signar is very weird.
Signar is very weird.
Crix at 4 is quite weird.
Crix is shocking to me.
Yeah. The fact that Crix has the same amount as Legion is quite baffling.
I mean, that's, because Legion's in a great spot. Like, Legion
so
have no complaints.
I would say the only main surprising things in this list is, so typically you always used to have a lot of men-off players in team events. But I, as a men-off player, I'm under the impression that men-off is not in a great spot.
Men-off has a bit of work to do.
Yeah, I think they need to wait for the meta to settle down and see if they've got anything there. But so I think the main thing is you did see a lot of Signar in team events, I felt, but I felt like that was more newer players, first time experience in team events, quite a lot of the time. So Pom's gone down, Signar's gone up. There is a ridiculously low amount of circle as well. But I would say
That's
in the UK,
shocking. That is really shocking.
Normally in the top half in terms of the bracket, and Crix is normally bottom half. So it is a little bit different, but apart from Convergence, everything is represented, which is nice.
I remember when Circle was riding high on Thorn. We had like 6 Circle players at Cross. It was ridiculous.
I remember because I was going down to Cross at that point when it was still open, and it was a case of it was basically you was guaranteed to watch 2 mirror matches of Circle a games night.
Dan Pedrick literally shelved his Circle. He was planning to play Circle, and he was just so sick of Circle mirror matches that he just said, "Stuff it, I'm going back to Red."
Yeah. But yeah, it's a really nice spread of factions, which is quite nice and refreshing. Especially, I think one of the big ones is, I don't know if it's because he's doing it for a serious note or because he wants to have fun, but you've got people like Brett on Signar as well, which, if you're a UK player...
Brett's a very strong player.
That's Wilkie.
Very good player.
He's been captain of WC for England. He's been on the English team for as long as I've known them. And he normally brings something that he sees as very competitive. And he's playing in a team along with one of his other York WTC teammates,
Jim
Gradwell. So I expect that list is for something specific, or he's just found a bit of gold and he's just like, I'm going to put so many shots in, I'm just going to clear out whatever you put against me.
I mean, I'm not too surprised to see so much Signar, just from the point of view that Signar got a lot of love in this update. I don't think enough love to be the top contenders, but they got a lot of love, which means everyone who's wanted to play Signar for 5 years, that they've been utter shit.
Yes, finally got to open that cupboard.
They finally get to pull those toys. They finally get to put the toys on the table. It's the same reason that's why I brought up Thorn earlier. It's the exact reason every Circle player with Thorn models went crazy when they came out. They'd only been waiting 6 years for them to be decent.
And Grimkin have only been waiting since launch to actually put a tree on the table.
I mean,
now everywhere trees.
Oh, those trees! I am so in love with those trees. I cannot stop going on about them. They're amazing.
I actually made a list without trees the other day, just because I think I'd outpace it too much. Hi, Tom. Tom Bell's joined us over on Twitter. So nobody on Twitch. I know what I'm talking about. So let's do a quick. I'll do a very quick rundown for people that haven't seen it. So the rundown is Signar are first with 6 players. Trollbloods with 5 players, Crix with 4, Grimkin with 4, Crucible Guard with 4, Kador with 4, Legion with 4. It's like a real good spread. Mercenaries, Minions, Retribution, Scorn, all at 3 players. Then Menoth 2 players, Infernals 2 players, and my captain, the only Circle player, and he hasn't got Kruger. When I say he hasn't got Kruger, I mean he hasn't got Kruger 2. He's got obviously Kruger 0 in all.
Kruger 0 is.
Of course.
Kruger 0.
So,
I feel like someone should just model him as Father Christmas. Just be done with.
So, because I'm assuming you can do this when the podcast actually launches. I'm assuming you can upload the PDF as well at the same time. If you get a chance to look at them, most of these lists are fairly different as well. Pre-COVID, I felt like team events, you typically had the same sort of lists every single time that you was expecting to see. For a lot of these, so I don't know if you guys have actually sat down and actually looked through the lists, but when we did it was like, this actually feels different. This feels like a different experience. It's not a case of, I'm searching for the Kruger 2, the Harby, the Vlad 2 players. They're all a bit different, which was actually really nice and refreshing. Just before you even go to the event, it's nice just to have see that the update that they've done has actually made a difference in terms of things. Those Kador lists are wacky.
Yeah, I think that's more a sort of we're in a transition period. I'm playing the shit out of the Twins right now, and the point is I can get away with it because everyone's experimenting. But as soon as people have kind of settled on really strong lists, which should happen within the next 2 to 3 months, I doubt I'll keep on getting away with it. And I think you'll see the same for a lot of these lists.
I don't think most of these lists are bad lists. Like, it's just a case of it's opened up different avenues because
a list doesn't need to be a bad list to be uncompetitive, though.
And
if you're playing into
now,
yeah,
I refuse to believe. I don't know if you've looked at his lists. I refuse to believe that Jim has that many Ragers and Cade. No one owns that many Ragers.
I need to see. I know I was messing around with a what's the name? With a 10 Riporn satire list with Harrison, who refuses to invest in just that many bloody satires.
I think I've only ever seen one Rager on the table, and there's 6 in this list.
So which team is he in?
The team is the Old York Suffragettes.
Okay,
so it's
Fishcord
with Signar, Gav Beckett with Scorn, and then Jim. And his,
there we go. Okay.
And it's the theme list is Balls of Steel crossed out, so it's Legion of Steel. Kozlov with Greylord adjuncts, and then 1, 2, 5, 6 Ragers. 6 Ragers, Kovnik Markov, Captain Svoya Skroba, so Sorsha 0, right? 2 Ironfang Kovniks, Ragman, Great Bears of Gallowswood. Well, I've not seen them since Mark II.
Yeah, 2 min units of Ulands.
Yeah, 2 min units of Ulands.
Yeah.
Mechanics with an officer and Gaze Eliminators. And then that's
just weird.
That's paired with
Zakova 2?
Commander Zakova, that's Zakova 2, yeah. With obviously we've got 3 Marauders, Hermit, 2 Golden Lords, Samurai Advocate, 2 Turnians, Ayana and Holt with Valachev, 2 min units of Outriders.
Yeah, which is a bit weird.
And 3 units of Doom Reavers. It's a very, very different pairing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, most of them do feel quite unique, and it changes up the experience.
Yeah,
it's really nice because at a team event you do have to plan a bit more because obviously you're planning on who you want people to be dropped into and who you're dropping and stuff like that, which you don't get a normal steamroll. So when you're looking through these things and you're seeing things that are different, it is quite a nice, refreshing change.
It definitely is. It's not the usual known quantities.
Yeah. So I think the thing that changes. I'm sorry. I was going to say. I think the only thing that changes the least is. Pretty sure most of the howlers, which you didn't see before. So even that, you've got some changes in there, which is nice.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So we've got a bit of time. I thought we'd literally just do a little blitz, give us some hot takes on what we think about the teams, and obviously I'll put the link in the show notes. Good. So people can go and have a little look. There's a PDF of the team layouts, and then we'll see how it goes for everyone on the weekend. But we start off the team listing with a team called Dragon's Breath, which is pure Crucible Guard. 3 Crucible Guard players, all rocking, I think, a very strong faction. I think after the update, after the update that they had themselves before, like the big dynamic update,
they had a pseudo CID. Well, I suppose it was just a dynamic update. It never went through CID.
It was basically with Lucas and all the jacks and the theme got better, and the Vindicator got so good. Yeah, and then they got the dynamic update, which just didn't touch them particularly strongly, but also
it hurt Lucas a little bit.
Just a little bit.
I mean,
he lost like a couple of Warjack points.
He lost 3.
He lost the solo basically.
Okay. But Gearhart gained 3, which is really big for that list. So the one thing I would say in regards to these, obviously there is only 6 casters, so the pairings are let down by the fact of they have had to take every single caster. So there's a couple of players in there.
I'm a little bit disappointed that some of them didn't just one list it and say, "This is my caster."
Yeah.
I imagine somebody
that would be the case.
Doing that. Yeah. I really do imagine that. I don't think I've ever seen anyone drop Bennett in a tournament. Like, I'm pretty sure that Andy is one listing Lucas.
The the Tide of Skulls, the online Warfare Weekend qualifier. Yeah, and that's the only time I've ever seen Bennett.
Yeah,
it was interesting.
But yeah, she's not a bad caster. I think she's not as good as the other one.
Yeah.
You've then got so after that you've got some Grimkin player who's forgot to put Defiled Archons in his lists.
Just quickly, so we got Dragon's Breath are Andy Garrett with Lucas and Bennett. Graham's got Locke and Gerhardt, and then Jacob's got Silvestro McKay. So interesting.
Yeah, I think there's one good pairing there, and then two which are probably going to be one listing.
Yeah,
on those lists.
Basically, yeah. And then the next team is Epic Wolfpack. This is like a bunch of the old English WTC players who come back to the game who are local to me, and we almost changed our club name to this, and then there was some usual herding of cats, so we haven't actually got a real club name still. So I'm not bitter. I'm not the captain. I refuse to be captain.
So you're talking about the Grimkin player who's forgotten to put Defiled Archons in his list. So after a bit of playing around and refining, my Dreamer list looks model for model exactly like your Dreamer list.
Yeah, I think
it's a strong list.
Yeah,
they're just such good models there. It feels like such a sin not to see them in lists. I mean, I'm not saying it's the wrong call to not take them, but it just feels so wrong.
Tempting.
To not.
You drop because I was playing with this for the cost of I think I'd drop a clock, or you could drop a Cage Rager, and it costs you the Baron, and you can put in two Defiles.
But that's the thing. You lose a solo and a heavy to take them, and the solos. I mean,
the solo's really useful. Like the free upkeep's a big deal for the Dreamer, but also it's tanky as fuck. It really is. It is so tanky, and the tank only works if you've got the extra boxes, the extra heavy to lose.
Yeah.
Like you start running out of work pieces if you're just left with them. I'm not sold that it's the wrong move. Like I might even play around a bit, but the 6 heavies is strong, man.
Yeah,
it's really strong.
I've said to you as well. I mean, I had a test game the other day where I tried to basically just drop it into Gunny 2 and just eat the feet, which I did. I lost one heavy.
Yeah,
and a Witchwood. I lost a heavy and a Witchwood, and that was it.
I would drop this into Gunny 2. I would drop this into Gunny 2 every time. Bring it. There's no way, and especially you don't even sacrifice is what people are scared of. But you pick up Ill Omens, and then suddenly everything's tanking at armor 22, and it's just stupid. It's absolutely stupid.
I found Desolation getting into my list a little bit more when I'm playing into the range.
Really?
Yeah. If
you're finding people they're giving you a good chance to stick down a forest and mess with their line of sight.
It's entirely, rather than matchup dependent, it's entirely table dependent. So you can if you're on the side of a table that can use it, then there's a spot that you can basically manufacture where your brick is going to go. And whatever alpha gun line, and basically you just need to bait something in to be a little bit further forward. The turn you expect to be shot, generally speaking, you save Wraith Walker for Dreamer, so she goes incorporeal, so she can go further up the table, feel pretty safe, and basically go. Have you moved your first unit into this spot? Have a couple of spots where you're looking at and going, right, I'll now put a forest down there. How many guns have I just shot off? And yes, the few practices I've done, it's been a significant chunk of guns have just been it's suddenly
shut down.
I guess that unit's running then, not shooting me on feet turn. Okay, I'll take it.
Okay, that's very cool.
So it's niche.
I like it.
Table dependent and table and matchup dependent, but I wouldn't take it in every list for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm finding it's a nice tanky brick. And Rhino got to Father Archons in the other list. Not like
you're not going to play that list because everyone just plays the Dreamer.
I did.
No, Wanderer is amazing, dude. Wanderer with Defiles is stupidly good.
Yeah, I had Defiles and Monkeys. So if I go into,
I'm curious why you built. I don't understand why you built this list in Bump.
For the Monkeys,
the Manly Man, for 6-point Manly Man.
Oh, just because you can take them as requisitions.
So it's you've got a scoring unit that you take as a rec option, and also the monkeys. If you could position the monkey in the right spot, you're looking at 17 Skinnamones.
You can take monkeys in Menagerie.
Yeah, you guys. That's 12 points. That's like a heavy, right?
Yeah, I worked out you can build this list. You can basically build this list without the cast gimps, and you lose the Grave Ghoul for getting yourself into Menagerie.
Oh, it was in Menagerie originally, and it migrated to Bump because I wanted the Grave Ghoul.
Okay, that's fair.
So basically the Grave Ghoul is what means it's got to be in Bump, or unthemed it will be in Bump. And then,
absolutely.
then having the free Manly Man. Means that the scoring unit, there's extra corpse recursion to fuel the Grave Ghoul.
Being able to dig in the skin and moans on approach is also amazing.
Yeah, and then also just sticking Monkey Bite into the Defiled Archons AoE.
Obviously,
while someone's trying to hit a skin and moans, you go, is that a Legion heavy? Trying to hit my skin and moans, it's Def 17 and Starcrossed, and when you hit
17 and Starcrossed,
and
good
when
luck.
you hit him, I'll make you re-roll it.
No, it's gross. Like Wanderer is gross right now. He's amazing.
I've only played it once at the weekend. I was going to play King, but I've listened to you enough. I'm gonna give Wanderer a bit more of table time.
I mean, the truth is, you could play King doing something very similar, but you'd have to not be playing your 5 million your flock of clockatrices trying to assassinate.
I feel wrong, but I only got to play it once on the weekend. I played against Ben, and it was he played Barney 2 against me. Yeah, it was not looking
He can't
great.
hit you.
Yeah, he's basically I've got a bit of a def skew, but you've got a better def skew. And you've also got an answer to my def skew because you've got more accuracy,
clockatrices,
and you've got rerolls. Basically we just sort of trying to
trigger time stutter is hard enough, and then you time stutter away. Like it's gross. It's really gross.
So that's my list. So I am the one list with Archons. And the other members of my team are Gav, both playing Scorn. He's an old player. He's come back and done a couple of events now, which is cool. And obviously he's got some games in a club, running Zaltu and Xerxes with just like a big old beast brick with Xerxes 2.
That's Xerxes 2, not 1 there. Okay.
I know Xerxes. Yeah, Xerxes on his fucking Rhino.
Xerxes on his Rhino. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah.
So everything threatens the world, and then then has the additional, basically signs and portents on everything for a feet turn, no matter where it's on the
feet turn with infinite, with its name, infinite control and all of that good stuff. It's solid.
Nice. Yeah, we played into it the other day. It's still strong. Doesn't have any Death Archons. I think that was a choice of what models he had access to, or painted rather than then our captain is the only circle player, and he's running Bradigus and Balder 2. I'll talk about the Balder 2 list quickly. So the week before Warfare weekend,
I don't see a single Kruger 0 here either.
Doesn't have a Kruger 0, does he? There's no Krugers in this tournament at all. We're like world
sacrilege, I tell you.
World setting. So I played this list from Matt the week before Warfare weekend.
They're both in bones. Look at that.
So it's basically Balder 2 with double Mold Wrath, which obviously now gone down to 31 points, and 2 heavies with Geomancy as well.
Okay, a second geomancy is interesting.
Yeah, so and 2 lots of sentry stones with mannequins, 2 lots of shifting stones, a gremlin swarm, and some black lab stone shapers and chuck dogwood. And
I mean, this list post updates has basically just gotten like, is it an extra 11 points or an extra 9 points?
I don't know, maybe more.
Because the wall draft went down, I think 5 points. He's got 2 of those. The warden still spins me out. Went down one point.
Megalith went down as well, I think.
Oh god, the stone shapers went down as well.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure he's gained the heavy.
I think he's gained a world warden. I think he's gained a world warden.
He's maybe gained Megalith in this.
Yeah, I think he had
the oldest always. Yeah, I think the old Baldur 2 had Megalith and 2 Wraths. I think he's gained a warden.
Yeah, but the point is obviously Baby Michael took Kruger 2 and a very similar Baldur 2 list.
Yes.
The final of
it's Warfare Weekend.
And while we're watching the stream, we were pointing out on in our little group chat. And it's like this is a very similar list that Matt had already been sort of honing. So it misses out on the Death Archon. Obviously, Moldraths are ridiculously tanky now, and Baldur 2 brings a rock wall.
Moldraths aren't any more tanky than they ever were. It's the Death Archons that made them so tanky.
No, but they've always been very tanky, but now they're very tanky, and you can afford to take other shit with them.
Yes, there is that.
So he's got like Megalith and the World Warden for basically geomancying, roots of the earth on stuff, or just doing crevasses. He's got sentry stones and mannequins, 2 units of those to do loads of sprays. So he's basically got a lot of things that can clear out shitty infantry from blocking. But obviously you stick down, you move up your World Wrath, stick down.
It's really sad news.
Yeah.
Every single Legion player has got Naga. I think for the first time ever in quite some time.
Wow.
Every single Legion player has a Naga in one of the lists.
That's fine, because they can't normally afford to put Wraithbane on more than 2 beasts anyway.
You only need one.
Thanks, 0 exists now. Yeah.
Well, you just shoot the Naga to death. It's fine.
Yeah, the model that's going to be at the back.
But the problem is
the Naga's got Prowl, and you've got Fog of War on Thags, so you're not shooting him to death.
It's all sprays and so it doesn't matter.
With sentry stones.
Yeah, but the point is, you stick Baldur's rock
in the situations. Yeah.
In
situations where it works,
in front of one of the Waldraths, and basically make it impossible to land a heavy on. And because he's got 2 units of shifting stones and just can roots of the earth the unit, he essentially can make another 2 rock walls in front of his gargantuans. You essentially have like 3 rock walls, where 2 of them might not actually be rock walls, but they're like armor 24 or something with roots of the earth, or something ridiculous. So you might be also hitting them, but you've got to commit a heavy to actually remove them to get a landing spot next to the Waldrath.
Yeah,
it's we played it the other week, and even with a lot of heavies and like a lot of skin and bones loaded up, it was and easy access to Wraithbane because I've got 2 Cage Rangers.
If you're not prepared for it, it's hard.
It is a lot of meat to chew. Oh, well, not meat, a lot of stone to chew through.
Yeah.
Next team up is these Fishcord dudes. Are you the captain? Is Barry the captain?
I am the captain.
Captain. Look at you. So you're on Crucible Guard. You said you abandoned Menoth.
Yeah.
Menoth are dead to you.
I tried Menoth in the first. As soon as that Google Doc came out, I had 4 games at the weekend, and I was like, this is really fun playing at speed 4 with no protection. I'm out.
Okay.
Right.
We've got a... Yes, I jumped to CG.
You're Gerhard and Lucas. Like, is Lucas still the best Fishcord caster?
I don't know if he's the best, but he's the most dynamic, which is why
it's a lot of fun to play as well, right?
I mean, TK Caster's always fun to play. Like, he's got such a. He's like Beth. He's got as good as a kit as Beth.
Yeah.
He's so versatile. He's enjoyable to play, and then Gearhart's just very standardly good.
Yeah.
And
then Dean's playing Bethane 2 and Vale 1. Disciple.
Yes.
Yeah, Vale 2 is console.
Triple Angel. That's a choice.
Angelius, pretty good.
Yeah, you throw everything
I mean, 14 points in Angelius is.
They're really good
solid.
now. Really good now. Like,
and they pull all sorts of stunts. No, I can see that.
Yeah,
like
that's very cool.
With between Shadowbind and Crit Stationaries, got like a lot of movement stuff, right? So you basically throw your Blight Archon in, pull shit in, hit it, move throw your angels out, repulse at the end of their combat.
You've got the side steps along angels now. You've got the
repulse,
cat
and then
feed.
cat and mouse and get the hell out of dodge at the end of it. Go. Anything left within retaliatory strike distance? Probably not.
Most of the time, and like this is the reason why I'd say that you probably could afford to cast this many Nargradimus. Like, you can cast 3 Slipstreams, easily, and it's not putting Val in a position to do it either, which is nice to have. And then Beth 2. I mean, there's a Archangel.
Still Beth 2.
Yeah, like it's not the old one, but it's because it's not as good anymore. But yeah.
It's still, I mean, Warmongers with the transmutation are scary.
Heavy, so you only get a token for Golab?
You get a token for a heavy, 2 for a, heavy or a light, just not a light.
You get so basically, you don't, you had to change the list because you used to spam all the Harriers, but you don't get it, so you've got the stuff instead.
I still like the Harriers because you can use the Harriers to... What's it called?
Mark target. Do you know what's better than mark target?
Not mark target. Just to actually use it.
Yeah, I mean, rakes are pretty good for spell driver as well. So
it's just it's just nice in Ravens where you get them as a bloody rake choice for a pair of them. And as you say, for spell driver, a rake's just as good.
Yeah. I think he's fairly happy with that. And then Barry rocking double Madrak.
Try and think if that's the same list that they did at Warsaw. Might be
Krill Warriors. That's a lot of Krill Warriors. You don't see that very often.
That will be roughly the same. There'll be some tweaks.
Oh, you didn't have the Caber throwers were tossed then, so you didn't have them. And now they're fucking gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, Maddie with double fen blades. I have not seen that for so long.
It's pretty good. Barry rolls 4 pluses, so he's fine. It's the sort of list that you only roll. You can only play if you can roll dice, right? So you do. I guess that's the same for any troll list, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just how much damage because of battle lost or where it is.
It's scary.
Yeah,
and they threaten like a good amount if you give them vengeance, and obviously it's hard.
Yeah, very good. It's a pretty good amount.
Yeah, I like it. And then that's that team. Tom over on Twitter said, guess how many points is Haley 1 list gained?
Oh, is it something like 17 to 20? It's something ridiculously high.
Is it like a Haley like Tempest gunline list or?
Yeah, I can probably remember the 2 units of gun mages with UAs, 2 of the snipers. I want to say it was 2 adepts. You then had Hailing with a Hurricane. I feel like Kane 0 was with Ace, but I might be wrong. Basically, just adding all of the infantry. All the infantry and Sons of the Tempest, job done.
Yeah, there's a lot of...
everything there got ludicrously cheap. Signar infantry
got cheaper and better, so it's not just cheaper.
Yeah.
They've done alright, I would say. It was a great idea, was it, to give Signar open the door for Signar again? I'm not sure.
That's something we can only regret. Like, Nothing good can come of that.
So let's jump on the next team, Hipster Dojo. This is a quick jump back. Tom said that the old list was everything except Gunmade and Max FA, except Blaze. There's only one unit, no Cane Zero, and a Hurricane. Yeah, Hurricane's a really, really good fucking anchor for that, I think.
Yeah.
So you got to add a Squire, Alexa 2, and Rangers as well for free.
Yeah.
Is that all?
Yeah, just a little bit of extra. It's basically like adding a Warmachine list onto your 75-point list if you play something.
Unreal. Yeah.
Not bad at all. So, Hipster Dojo. So I'm not sure I recognise the names. This is Gary Stewart with Troblets.
I don't think I do either.
Matt Harris with Boomkin and Phil Rothwell with Signar. I'm not sure I know these guys.
Phil Rothwell rings a bell to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's Gunny 2.
Yeah, Gunny 2. You can't really go very wrong.
It's pretty hard to fuck it up.
I feel like this
champs,
is worse now.
Yeah, but he's got champs. He's not like
he's got the standard.
Like, it's not full like just like hate yourself. Just have a gun knife.
Yeah,
he's got the combined arms route.
Yeah.
This list definitely took a hit with the updates because you can't run 15 inches up the board with your what's the name? With your champions.
Oh, yeah,
with the champions. You couldn't pull the Boomy 3 nonsense and 15 inches up with the champs.
I do think the changes to the feat do have substantial change to how he plays as a caster. You have things to play around it now he didn't before, which is very nice.
I mean, there's a little bit, but there's very little that actually plays around it.
I found it's not much.
Most of the things that treat it, care about it as blast, are now low enough power that they're getting +4 armor and they die anyway. Like there are a couple things that will genuinely benefit.
Yeah, but the feat wasn't blast damage. Bear in mind.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. The feat change was changed to blast.
Yeah, but so things like Girded actually now work against. Girded is still in the game. Trenches work against it if it's not centered in the trench. So you actually have you can actually play around it now. Those two just going. I have to take this.
Yeah.
Which means everyone has options for that.
But does everyone have options to Girded?
No, for like trenches and stuff. Considering we had the steamroller of trenches.
Yeah, you can have more friendly terrain, that's for sure. Where before it just wouldn't have done anything. He's pairing that with Madrak Great Chieftain. Is that Maddie 1?
That's a Maddie 3. You'll see a lot of Maddie 3.
Oh yeah. Which again, champions one off. Not a huge amount of infantry though. Champions, Femblaze.
No.
Scouts is really interesting.
Yeah. And
that's
unusual. Their Grimkin player is running basically just like an old style Dreamer Brick, right? 2 clocks, 2 Skin and Bones, Cage Rager, and then 2 Defile.
He's running the version that Ryan thinks you should be running.
Yeah.
He's got 5 heavies and he's got the double Defiles. He doesn't have Witchwoods, which I rate it as, a good 30% less effective than it should be.
Yeah, I think
I would assume
so good.
I would probably assume it's a case of the person either hasn't noticed they're good, or they don't know. I would assume that's possibly the situation.
Also, before I went into to get my 3D done, I couldn't find Witchwoods in any shop in Europe, so that might also be part of it. Like the stuff I've had. Like, people listen to me talk about 3D models and 3D sculpting, and I'm in a lucky boat where one of my locals, who mates with it, will help me. Basically, we'll put stuff together. Say, can we mash this into something good? But my 3D stuff generally is the Witchwoods, which I can't get anywhere because they were so bad for so long, no one ever had them, and like the Dreadrots, which again I don't think any of the shops had them, and they're like notoriously horrific sculpts that are made of like fucking rubber, like as in like eraser.
Jeez,
rubber.
They really are.
They're basically like someone's fucking. I don't know.
Those sickles are like half spirals if you take them out of a car on a hot day. It's insane.
Yeah, no one wants them. They're bad. I hate to be that person, but they're bad. They're bad models, and they're made of awful material for some reason. And I'm not paying £50 for.
I actually love the minis. I really do like the sculpts, but fuck me, I don't know how they put them together.
Yeah. I know everyone I know that actually has them hates the fact that how they just flop everywhere. Anyway, so my little, not rant over, but like little. When you hear me talk about why some of my Grimkin stuff it or 3D sculptures, that's why like the conversion stuff is like aesthetic wise. So like my second defiled Archon is Heretic that I've converted, and that's just because I wanted them to look different.
Yeah.
Put a bit of time in. Put him on the screen, there you go, in case people can kind of see basically the Heretic that I've then heated up so I could be sort of mold where his legs were. Then Harbinger's loincloth, whatever. Like the thing that like elevates her, and then some more gassed wings from Games Workshop, a spear from Baron Guard, which is like Chaos Knights, and book in his hand. Familiar.
Oh, is that what you managed to get hold of?
Okay. A Zinch Familiar. So it did have like.
Because I'm staring at the actual models, and it looks. I mean, at least from a distance, it looks bloody the same.
Like it looks like it's the same model. It looks basically like an alt pose, right, or an alt version of the same model. Close enough. Like the size of the book and the spear, I all kind of sort of lined up and stuff. I'm really happy how he's turned out. I did a lot of work on him this week because I realised that I basically just glued the more gas wings on the back for an event and hadn't. So there was no attempt to actually like meld them into the model. It was just these massive fucking block nubs at the back. So I basically had to like take the entire model apart, trim down everything, green stuff, and then sort of pin the wings in place. And while I was at it, I obviously knocked everything else that I built onto him off. I also pinned those at the same. But, it looks fantastic. So happy. Anyway, so this guy, Matt's running the Dreamer, Ryan's version of the Ryan's preference for the Dreamer. I still think it's good. But yeah, I think you miss a really good trick with the Witchwoods. I prefer.
I do think there should be Witchwoods in there. But I think that's.
Yeah, you basically have to sacrifice taking like support in favour of taking trees that will drag shit in for you to kill, and also also really tanky themselves.
He's got 3 requisitions, and 2 of them can turn into Witchwoods. Like it's a very easy trade.
Yeah.
This is the list I was talking about before. It's a very easy trade.
Yeah, definitely. And then he's got Old Witch in Bump. With double Madcaps, double Cask Imps. I assume the Cask Imps are just to feed the Grave Ghoul turn 1. Glimmer Imp. I've got a Glimmer Imp somewhere.
That's a lot of. Oh, I know what the Cask Imps are. This is one of the problems with Bump. Is if you've got 2 points to kill, there's actually nothing good to do with it, and you end up with 4 bloody Cask Imps.
But that means you can fill up the Grave Ghoul turn 1 though.
Yeah. I mean, you're already going to throw. Where the hell's his Melody Man?
Melody Man.
Right.
He's not going to throw the monkeys into the Grave Ghoul. So I guess it's something. He's got a very like sort of spread
fine.
Group. He's got Skinnamones, 2 Clockatrices, Rattler, 2 Gorehounds, 2 Crabbits. It's very like interesting.
Double Madcaps. That's very old school. I'll give him that.
Then they've got Phil Rothwell on Signal, double Flames in Darkness. So Striker with Blockader and Centurion. That's a lot of meat.
Yeah.
These are pretty, I think, standard what we've been seeing.
What we
were seeing, I guess.
I feel like the scariest things about these lists is Neil.
What was that? Sorry.
I think the scary thing is how much better the Thamrat Archons are now.
Yes. Oh yes, without question.
I'm not sure why.
So am I the only one who thinks they went a little bit too far?
No, I think they may, if they wanted to not nerf them, they should have literally just left them as they were at 9 points.
I think they were a bit. I think they could have gone to
left them at 8 points.
I think I think Rate of Fire 2 was fine, would have been fine. Rate of Fire 3 seems like a bit much.
Yeah. A bit too much of a swing.
They do too much. Like, 2 of those will kill an infantry unit on their own, like every turn. It's a bit rough.
So we're jumping into the next team. These are some of the locals to me. They're a bunch of the old Sheffield players who are back. So Dom playing minions. Dom came on to chat to us about coming back to the game. In fact, a good few weeks ago. He's been loving his minions, but please, if you're watching or listening to the podcast and you play Dom on the weekend, please don't let him forget the fact he's actually playing trolls.
No, absolutely. He must not be allowed to forget that shit at all. He is not playing minions.
He's playing minions, but he's playing
nonsense.
Gunny 2 and Ragnar. He's just playing.
Yeah.
So Gunny 2, but with a war wagon.
Don't lie to yourself. You're a troll player this weekend.
Yes. Gunny 2 with a war wagon and Tubbin tune up. Cheeky.
That's solid.
And then Ragnar, which is meat. A lot of meat there.
Yeah.
And then Owen, who's started on Infernals, which looks he's one of these Infernal players that is looking at Hearts of Darkness. In fact, both are local Infernals players. We've gone from having no Infernals players to having 2 Infernals players in a month. And both of them are.
He's going all in on Howlers. He's got a double Howlers list in Hearts with Fiora.
Yes, double max as well, right? Emmanuel, thanks for the like, buddy. Cool, thanks.
I don't understand why you play Fiora with Adjudicator.
So because
why would you not?
You've got Insight, right? It's just Veil, but
is it Insight? Doesn't she have Warpath or whatever it's called?
No, you're thinking of the wrong one.
Yeah,
This is Cav Fiora, who's got Redline, which is great.
Oh, okay. This is Fiora 3. Okay, right.
And
this isn't Goth Fiora. Okay, got it.
I'm surprised he hasn't got Umbrals in the list because Fiora's weakness is that she dies. Basically, same as Veil, right? She dies from being too far up to get insight and stuff. But at the same time, like Howlers and with Sevi and the Adjudicator with Sevi, gonna be some good hitting power.
You can kind of get away with it a bit more in Infernals.
She got Rimwood, right? So she's got basically
Shadow, which is
Pursuit for free.
That's pretty big.
Yeah.
You've got the Wretch, which can stealth her as well. It's not fantastic, but it's also not bad.
And she can just lick the Adjudicator's asshole, basically, if there's no sprays to worry about.
Yeah, you've got Devout as well, which is a shield gun. So you've got some things in there. Like she's not just going to instantly die. I'm surprised there is not a single one or a single unit of initiates there, but you've got to make room, I guess, for the 2 units of Howlers. So
yeah. If you want to take a lot of Howlers, then something's got to go. Hi Gav in the chat, nice to see you, buddy. And then he's pairing that with I'd say a traditional OO list, but he's
this is what I expect.
How you see it is now.
This is what I expect to see nowadays from Omadamus. This is exactly like maybe you could kind of fiddle around. Don't you want Valen Hawk? You could fiddle with what your marked souls are, whether it's double rich or whether you fiddle with others. But they're small flavor choices. This is the basic template I expect.
I really like Nicaea with him because like being able to get the souls gathering before you start hitting things in melee is nice.
I mean, maybe if there's more infantry on the table, and I suppose we are seeing it.
I'm not currently seeing the Seer being great. I think you've got better options still, but she's not. She's not terrible, but I think there are better options in regards to.
Agreed. I love old. What's his face? The little the spellcaster who gives you the puppet master and the teleporting. Eilish, I love Eilish too. Yeah. Like he is so hard for me to leave.
Eva Eilish is great. You've got Linda now as well.
Linda is Linda I think is essential. Like I would trade one of those wretches out in a heartbeat. Outside of feat turn, you have a serious Pathfinder problem with the Omo, and being able to hand out one free Pathfinder is gold.
Yeah.
Like I would. There's no question that Linda would be in there.
And she's just a pain in the arse to like get rid of a flag or the edge of a zone if you're contesting.
I mean, yes and no. There are ways.
Yeah,
but
you've got to make it work to happen, right? It's not.
You got to work.
Got to work for it.
If nothing else, she'll cost you 4 minutes of clock trying to work out how you're going to kill her. You'll still kill her, but it's going to cost you some clock.
And then the last member is Zai with Troubleheads. So he was running Doomy Calandra, but we're gonna see who that ends up as. So yeah, that's the team that needs a replacement. So if you want to play a team with basically Gunny 2 Ragnar Troubleheads, allegedly minions. Tom's kidding himself, and a quite a tasty Infernals pair. These are the guys.
It's a very tasty Infernals list. That's
I really
interesting.
Hope someone can come in, and also someone come and give me a lift to the event, please. I was fine with me. It's not too bad. I'm sure someone can. Anyway, next team is Nerd Sharks. Names seem familiar. So Andy Howarth. Mike Howarth and Leon Wright. So Howarth sounds familiar. I'm like, where do I know these guys from? Are these like, you guys know them?
So who we're looking at here?
So Nerd Sharks.
Nerd Sharks, Andy Howarth.
Actual minions though.
Leon Wright.
Dom, this is what minions looks like. Wigan guys family. Cheers. Steve's joined us on Twitch. This is the Wigan guys. So Maylock and Jagger, these are actual minions.
Okay.
Not trolls.
Oh my god, look at this bullshit. Have you seen this Maylock list?
That's a lot of bodies to chew through.
That's a lot of meat to chew through. This is not a list that wins the game. This is a list that lets you clock yourself.
Yeah, so Andy's running Maylock with a Soul Slave, Blind Walker, a Wrestler and a Ball Snapper. Barney 0 with a Swamp Horror because he is ridiculous.
Fuck, he is too.
3 Feral Guys to help you, waste your time, and then
23 fucking posse.
4 max units of posse and 1 min unit posse. And if you've missed the update, all posse everywhere now have 8 boxes. There's 3 boxes all around for Gatormen.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's Blindwater Congregation. They had the 8 boxes here before anyway, but basically they didn't have Barney 0.
And you chew through all that crap.
Fuck.
And then the Jagger's a bit more of a gun line, but with some interest. It's actually got like Nis Hunters, Everett Scouts.
Double SWAT. You know what? It's actually a bit of a mixed.
It's like combined arms.
It's a combined arms.
Yeah. But he's got,
a Wrestler, 2 Swamp Horrors. It's actually 3 Swamp Horrors.
Meat Thresh as well is like surprisingly good gun. On top of being able to like roll you over. So that's cool. And then the second list is Leon with Menoth. I think we had 2 Menoth in the tournament, so not a lot of Menoth. And he's running Thyra. So this is basically like what we were. This is what
I kept wanting. I kept wanting to see more of this. Yeah.
All the Menoth players we actually know are like Menoth. Just chuck them in the bin, and we're like, no one tried Thyra. She looks so fun, so cool. And
I know.
Like, she's a trap. Don't take it. Like,
so Ryan, does this look like a trap?
So Thyra with Blood and Martyrs, a Devout Revenger. Which one's the Revenger? Is that the Flamethrower light?
Ryan, I think you're on mute for some reason. Okay, well, when he gets back, he gets back.
And then Nicaea, Double Vassal, a Gamer Gatekeeper, 3 Racks, Vassal Mechanic, Min Choir, and then Axe Daughters of the Flame, 2 lots of Flamebringers, a Min Temple Flame Guard with Officer. Another unit of the Flame, and oh my god, the format of this list. So there's 2 lots of Min Flame Guard with Officer, 2 lots of Daughters of the Flame, 2 lots of Flamebringers. They've just written it in a way to like trigger anyone that likes organised lists.
It's just upsetting, isn't it?
Sorry, I'm back now. So I played a ridiculous amount of Thyra. back before Archons existed, and she was really fun to play and everything. But Stranglehold has been nerfed, which is the main reason that I was playing her. This list will be absolutely phenomenal into single wound infantry meta, which we haven't really seen.
Yeah, to be fair,
this is the problem that this list has. Like, it's had all the for Guardians.
You don't think with the... I mean, Thara's got a damage buff. You don't think that Flamebringers and Daughters can chip their way through, or Flame Guard for that matter?
You're still looking at power 10s and 11s. It's not high. That's the problem you've got. Like, you can chew through, like, Legion heavies, sure. But, like, anything else, you're just going to struggle.
So like the single wound stuff we've seen so far is basically the striker list, Zal 2.
So Zal 2, if you can't get it quick enough and you cry. Yeah. Because you can't kill it.
Madrak 3, but obviously if you're relying on
Madrak 3, you do have
on giving them vengeance and not roll. Yeah, I guess.
You can't play this into Zal 2. Zal 2
you can't play this in Zal
2.
You can probably play this into Madrak 3, but you probably then can't play this into like a Gunny 2, which is the problem. You can get away with some bits because I think you've got some blast resistance now, but you die. This should absolutely like shit all over like Vlad 2 lists because of the amount of infantry and stuff. But we're not seeing enough of it to see Thyra, really, especially not in this theme. Like, because all of the love she got was for the theme.
Yeah.
Yes.
And although it's a really fun list to play, it's just not great.
Yeah.
It's the problem.
Fair.
Yeah, that's a fair complaint.
And then that's paired up with Resnick. Yeah. That's the cavalry Resnick, right? Or chariot Resnick, who's got a bunch tankier. A bunch tankier, but I'm not sure he's good still.
He's always been a decent caster. Like having spell piercer's always been always okay. It's a decent feat. Idrians have got noticeably cheaper now as well. Although there's no initiates in here. Does he have the book one? I don't think he has the book one.
No, there's no book.
He's missing out on that little sweet bit of suckering over Maddie and stuff. It's not a bad list at all.
And they round out their team with some old school retribution. So Vyros 2, who I think is now in a really strong position. With a load of Griffins, and then Imperatus and Manticore, and a Trident as well. I think Tridents are still good. Don't listen to Facebook if you're a rep player. They're not like they haven't died.
They haven't died, but you're going to see a lot less of them.
They're just no longer carrying the whole bloody faction.
Yeah, you don't choose your Trident and then choose your caster. No. So, yes, that's all right. And then with Kalissa.
This is the caster that scares the shit out of me now.
I played Kalissa was the only game I lost on the weekend at the event I went to, and I had a windswept terrain, the -3. Or squall. Squall is the minus range. I had a squall on my edge of the table, and I still had to sit 17 inches away from Kalissa with Dreamer.
She is so scary.
Would just be shot to death, and it's like, wow.
Does she ignore cover as well? I think she does.
Yeah. She got a Phantom Seeker for it, but she spends it and then goes, "I'm now ignoring your cover, your concealment, and your stealth." And now that
and she keeps it on herself and then hot swaps it.
Yeah, so basically she can just do snipe shot, and then every time she hits you, she's stealing one of your focus. So basically, Dreamer does not want to be shot by her, like in no fucking way.
The only thing I will say about this list, I prefer to see Reavast Defenders over Swordsman, because Reavast Defenders are just good models.
Yeah, I think they're a lot better. I guess this is like a rep player that's maybe
doesn't have the models because Reavast Defenders weren't great for
for a long time, and they're an expensive unit to buy into. So. I can get it, but I think that's probably. I think the ret list probably the scariest out of the stuff they've got. Cool. I think we're in a really good position. James Morehouse, thanks for joining us on the Facebooks. And then we've got this is the team to watch. Then this is the York lads, the old York suffragettes is basically the York EOs and WTC players. So Brett Wilkie running.
He's gone double Haley. See, this is what happens. You take the leash of Signar, and this is the shit that happens.
Yeah,
I hope you're watching. This is the shit we were trying to avoid right here.
Open the floodgates. So Haley, that's Haley 1, right? Captain Victoria is Haley 1.
Yeah, Haley 1.
Haley 1 and Haley 3.
Yeah.
So it's literally this just is basically made of fucking of Signar flashbacks PTSD.
Fuck.
So Haley 1 with a Squire, 2 Storm Walls.
2 Storm Walls.
And then the Journeyman with a Firefly, Strange Ways. So make sure they've got.
I feel like it feels like he's built a Nemo 3 list and then said, "Fuck it, Haley does it better."
So Storm Walls don't actually have lightning guns.
Oh,
so
right.
It's just
you'd be playing the Hurricane. Okay. Still with a Firefly. Yeah.
And then you've got the Storm Crawlers. They're just like super cheap, so you can just like do triangulation shots and stuff. And then in Stormblade infantry, but with max gunners, and then a bunch of mechanics then to sit behind the Storm Walls, repairing them.
Stormblade infantry are just a 6. Weirdly, they are just a 6-man unit, so it's a max unit. Yeah, they're just a 6-man unit.
Shows how much I see Stormblade infantry. And then they've got the UA and the gunners. And then he's paired it with a bit of a Gravedigger sort of throwback, but not quite.
I mean, the only difference here is
in it, I guess the Ironclads of Thorn.
It is the exact same list, pretty much. However, all of the Trencher stuff has got a lot cheaper.
Yeah,
so it's another list that's gained a lot of stuff. No, you probably didn't, but you've gained a lot of points here.
I'm not seeing any of the. So there were the Trencher Commandos, so he's left those at home, and he's just gone Long Gunners and his min unit of infantry.
Long Gunners were just gold in the unit, then you've got the Trencher Infantry.
The
cloud.
Yeah, the Long Gunners have dropped a lot of points.
They're solid.
In terms of the cost. So a lot of stuff has here, which is why you're seeing a lot more. But
that's a scary pair to see. And then Gav's got
another scary pairing.
Resheth in Typhus of Agony. With a bunch of Code Raiders, double Brigands. But like Resheth has just got like the generic. He's just going to lower your armor by a ton and just shoot you.
And the double Everett Scouts, which we're seeing a lot of lately, because at 4 points, at 4 points, those are
they're like power,
great.
Are they like power 12 armor piercing or something ridiculous?
No, they're power 7 armor piercing.
Oh, okay. I'm just in my head. Like in my head, is that because that's what Resheth takes him to?
No, it's in
11.
4 points.
It takes him to power 11.
Yeah.
So power 11 armor piercing shots, pretty tasty. and then get the hell out of dodge afterwards. And then Makeda 3, I just like Makeda 3. I can't lie. I think she's cool. Makeda 3 with a bunch of brutes, Moloch Khan, Animatrax. And then Zadesh with the Terrorize and Agonize, the support package. And then we talked about Jim's list earlier, the Kador. So Oslov and go to interesting choices. All the rages in the UK in one place.
I mean, that Sokovia 2 list has been good for quite a long time, but it has now got so that is something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, and it's very much like a balanced list. I think he's probably played that an awful lot.
He's kept the Outriders to quite a small size. He's only taken 6 of them.
Yeah,
that's an interesting choice.
Between taking a max unit and 2 mins isn't much, and obviously gives you like a lot more flexibility. So depending on your matchup and where you want to put stuff.
I
think
typically that list. Typically, you was actually seeing have the 3rd unit of Doom Reavers, and you'd have 2 max units of Outriders.
Yeah.
You probably don't have something else in there. You didn't have but
it feels like he's gone through a lot of effort to include Ayana and Holt.
they're really good in there. To be fair, when they're
especially with Valachev. Valachev does a lot for them.
When they're friendly faction, it's very good.
Yes. Yeah. There's not a lot of people that can take them these days. So yeah, I think they're definitely a good team to watch. Owlface is basically the Power Fist guys, right? So Dan Price with Legion. Dan's playing the same Legion pair that he played on the weekend at the Warsaw.
Lilith 2. How I have not missed you.
There was 3 Legion players last weekend when I played. I think all of them had Lilith 2.
Really?
Or at least I played 2 out of 3 of the Legion players, and both of them had Lilith 2 and someone. And I think Reese was the third, and I'm not sure. Maybe he was wrong, but maybe Jamie, you said the Lilith 2 is definitely on the up in circles. But Lilith 2 and Seren, who Dan played against me, has a very credible assassination potential. That Seren list. He left.
I don't get it.
He left my Dreamer.
It's the 2 assassinations.
He left my Dreamer list on. He left my Dreamer on 3 boxes and on fire.
Oh wow!
With Seren like 6 inches away from Dreamer, so 7 inches, because that's how far she can throw her fucking shuriken. So
yeah.
I put up a fight. I took a lot off the table. I had like I can't remember if I had 2 or 3 camp, and I had 2 arcane vortexes available, and a shield guard and a hermit. And essentially, what he did is Seren got slipstreamed, walked up, threw her throwing stars 3 times at me. I had to transfer one.
Yeah.
And sorry, started with the Seraph. So he hits with the Seraph. Only gets 1 shot because obviously it's a Seraph. Which I shield guard.
Yeah, I was about to say you shield guard that so you don't get flayed.
So I shield guard the Seraph shot onto my Crabbit. And then Seren comes up, shoots me 3 times with a shuriken which has got grievous wounds on it. I think I have to transfer 1, I think. And then it's got basically 3 Carnivians and the Archon. All
assaulting with spray tins.
Yeah, it's a long fucking way to like try and get around.
I think a lot of.
I think he missed one of them.
Nasty assassination.
So obviously, I hermit one of the Carnivians. One of the Carnivians misses. It basically hits him with a Carnivian.
They're all sprays, so you don't care if you're hiding in a bloody. Fine.
It was rough, and obviously then he's got rerolls. Typhon couldn't get involved because I put Artificer Deviation just in front of him to stop him from being able to get involved.
Yes.
I was like, none of your sprays care about my cover, but Typhon does care about rough terrain.
Typhon's lack of Pathfinder definitely cares.
Yeah, and obviously he couldn't just walk in and spray because obviously he doesn't get the Pathfinder with the Mechano Shredder Animus. He's got to be on a charge. So otherwise, I'd have been absolutely dead. So that was a really nice list from Dan. Dan always digs for some cool stuff in Legion. That's good. James White playing Trollbloods. So I've not seen James playing in the game. So he's an old player from their meta. So it's cool to see they're getting some people back out.
Okay. Colgrim is coming back out to play.
I don't think ever. Has she ever gone? She's always been super good.
She took a bit of a hiatus over the last year. I think Gunny 2 and fucking Azazello took her spot, but I mean she hasn't really gone anywhere. She's still bloody solid.
No, I agree with that. And then that's with Doomy something.
Is that Doomy 2 or 3? Is that Doomy 2?
Doom Shaper, Dire Prophet.
No, I think that's 3.
Is there a scroll person on there?
No.
I think that's based on the battle group points. I would assume that's.
Yeah, it's
the battle group makes that look like it's 2.
Yeah, maybe. We'll check it out and come back. And then the last member of Team Alphys is Rob McCormick with his Kador. Rob, if you're listening, Rob, thanks for my ticket last week. Rob dropped out of the Whirl event, so I got to go for free. I did pass his ticket to whoever could fill his spot. So thanks, buddy. Cool. And he's running Malakov and Old Witch. That's Old Witch 1, isn't it?
Old Witch 1, yeah.
Yes.
Malakov,
hey.
Malakov with Crows Cutthroats. Nice. And a bunch of winter rockets.
I'm surprised I don't see Sorcerer Zero there with the Old Witch.
That is Sorcerer Zero, Kovnik Apprentice.
Sorry. Kratikov. No, okay, there she is. Yeah. Right. Okay, as she should be. Right.
With the only other Rager in Europe. All the other ones are on there. Yeah, Rob's another one who proper searches for stuff that's worthwhile in his faction. He'll enjoy playing as well as have a good game with. So I'll be interested to see how that wins out.
I like his Old Witch list. That's really interesting.
Again, that Malakov list is probably very scary. With the discombobulate and giving backstab out to the Winter Guard Rockets.
Rocketeers, yeah. So you've got Crows, Cutthroats, and the Rocketeers.
I'm a little disappointed. I don't see any. What's it called? Cossacks.
Why would you though? That's the thing.
They are fucking gold now. Jeez.
Yes, yeah, but you've got other things when you're only battle planning one unit, right? If you've got the Crows, you don't need. So it's just a case of getting enough infantry unit, which can get value.
But the turn they come on, they're not going to need discombobulate. They're just going to. They're going to come on, ambushing and shoot stuff in the rear. The first turn they come on, they're just going to wreck something straight up.
I think it's just a case of and I think Crows are still more consistent than them.
I think as well he's gone for a defensive battle group and then basically a gun line by having Cal Baylock, Old Grim, Marksman, Cutthroats, the Rocketeers. So we'll see how it works out. Whichever one we're going to try and pick up the pace. Go for Shark team. Anthony Green Morris on Signar, Michael Rhodes on Trollbloods, and Ryan Jones on Infernals.
Cool.
So that's
slow
Grave Diggers.
Yeah, it's it's Grave Diggers, but it's Sloan doing Sloan things.
Yeah, and then played with Maddox with a Hurricane in Flames and Darkness. So a Hurricane, 2 Star Marcons, and a Rowan. Then a bunch of got Resolutes in there as well, though. So it's different.
That's interesting. That could be scary.
Slow list having a couple of Trencher Express T.
Cloud War as well.
Yeah, she's got a mini Cloud War, Grievous weapons as well, Grievous guns rather. And the Master Gunners give him a second shot, right? So he's got 4 Grievous wound shots to spread out.
Yeah,
pretty. Check all that. Mike Rhodes played Trollbloods. We've got Cole Grimmer, and then Madrak 3 again. Madrak 3 is in every troll list we've looked at right so far. The pairing.
They have all been. It hasn't been. There's been some which have been had a Doomy and as well.
Oh yeah, that's Zion who's not going. So the only troll player.
There's Zion and another one.
Your ex-Minions player who decided, was it Dom, who decided to try to play trolls, has obviously not got enough experience with trolls and left Maddie at home.
He forgot about Maddie, obviously. He's just too far into denial.
They're decent lists. All of the Maddie lists have been different so far, by the way.
Yeah.
Metric 3 ones.
Yeah.
Nice.
This one is Champions, Femblades, and Long Riders. And then we had some which were double Femblades and Champions, and one which was single Femblades champion.
Haven't seen Long Riders for a while as well. That's nice to see.
Yeah, they're not bad.
And Ryan's running Zatroth Omodamus. I'd say pretty standard, but he's got Dark Sentinels in both lists.
Yeah, it feels wasted.
Yeah. The only time I'd actually consider Dark Sentinels like that is actually playing Agathon. You take a minion and you ambush them, and you can actually get some work out of them. but I don't think it's worth it.
I'm not seeing it anywhere.
No.
I think we called it pretty well when we were talking about like the big update and saying with Faye. I think Dark Sentinels should become like a min combat cultist unit instead. If you got them, you could still use them. But yeah. Southern Softies are the next lot. This is the Essex team, right? So Dave Ricketts,
team,
Mike Atkins, and then Alex Bond has joined them from America. Alex is one of
wow.
So Conan, who was on, who won Warfare Weekend the other week, was saying about the one of his old meta guys he used to play with and practice with, and the German guys well, and this is Alex, so he's basically came across. He's in the forces. I played him at Warsaw the other week. He's a lovely guy.
Mm-hmm.
He stepped in to basically fill the missing member of the team. So he's running Cyrenia and Sebi Chariot, which is I think the same man again. Might be slightly different.
That Resnick 2 list will be slightly due to points and stuff, but it'll be very similar.
Yeah. He had the Victor. Yeah, he definitely had the Victor before. He definitely had Avengers.
Yeah,
now Flame Bringers. So he's tweaked it a little bit.
I think he did before. Flame Bringers. But I think there's just very small changes.
Very small. I think one mana Archon for some reason.
They're expensive now.
Still really good though.
They dropped an armor as well. There's no initiates here, which makes them a bit fragile.
And then Dave's running Mercs at the moment, so an Osram full bunny list. Gunner 5 gunners, 5 blasters. Yeah, so and a toilet, a siege crawler,
Oof.
And then he's not got. I was just say he doesn't need thought really, does he? Because doing it because they're all just spend a focus and do
powerful attack. Yeah.
And then pairs that with Magnus with a blockader and Neo and Gatsby, and all of the fancy solos in the world. It's pretty.
Which one is the Warlord? Is that 2?
Magnus 2.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. If you've not played into it before, it'll shit on you first time you do. Guaranteed.
You need to play into it 3 times.
Yeah. Guaranteed to shit on you at least once. And then
absolutely.
And then the third player, Mike, is playing Grimkin with Child and King. He's playing a Slaughterhouse.
Slaughterhouse in them.
Playing a Slaughterhouse.
Slaughterhouse.
Yeah, Child with a Slaughterhouse Baron, a Cage Ranger, Double Clockatrice, Gorehound, Rabbit's Death Knell, a Death Archon, one Witchwood, Carriana, and 2 Gremlin Swarms. So he's got like ancillary attack, the Slaughterhouse for the gun.
Yes.
He's got Death Archon to make it more tanky on top of the Death Knell, but I'm still not sold on them.
Nah.
But yeah, and then King of Nothing, 2 Skin and Bones, 2 Clocks, 4 Kravitz. So he's actually going to try and get used to the King's Trump Arcana.
Well, it's more than just get use out of the Arcana. I really like having multiple small beasts with the King. So this is something you haven't played with because you just treat him as an assassination machine.
I don't only play him as that.
I mean, mostly, but the whole point is you can use the 2 Dreadrot units, right? You run one up, you Sands of Fate him where he needs to be, and because he's got all the Krabbits, you can build a little cage around him. And as soon as someone kills a Krabbit, he Sands of Fates to the other Dreadrot unit back to safety.
Yeah.
So you can pull some really neat little tricks to apply Master of Rune all over the show.
Yeah.
Just by having the multiple lights to make a little cage around him.
Can't help but think that you tweak it a bit. You take double crows instead of double in dragons. So you've got a lot more flexibility.
I mean, look, I do like taking a murder crow unit with him if you're going to pull this stunt. But tomato there really.
I think it's just a situation of trying out things as well because
he's got double
harvester in there as well.
And
so
he's taken. Well.
I feel he is missing a trick here in taking 2 min Dreadrot units. If you're going to invest in Isaiah, I would prefer 2 max units.
Yeah.
Like, Isaiah is expensive. You want to get some value out of him.
He's a pricey tool. Let's jump on to the next up. So it's Space Force, who is the basically like Northwest guys. It's Sean and his dwarves, the Broken, and then Jamie, who's actually one of my locals. That at some point in the last couple of years has been brainwashed into playing for their team rather than like our club. Jamie's a good lad. He's driving me to a bunch of events this month. Good on him. So he's running King of Nothing. He played this at all his games on the weekend at the
Oh wow!
Yeah, he's tweaked it a little bit after like me giving him some advice about wanting to have like the Manly Man always have that assassination option on the table.
Oh right,
so
yeah.
Especially Baron with a King with a Baron. 1, 2, 4 Cockatrices, 2 Crabbits, Longfellow, 2 Defile Archons. Grave Ghoul, one Trapkin.
I do like this list.
Max Nayslayers and the Warhorse, a Manly Man, and Twilight Sister. And then he's got a point left, so he gets Caskins. Grave Ghoul turn 1. Yeah, I quite like the list. It's got like some options. He's got exactly what you were talking about. He's got the ability to jump around with Sands of Fate, with Nayslayers, and obviously you can charge in with a couple of Nayslayers, repo out, let them die, and then bring them back with the Twilight Sisters, stuff like that. Let them die from free strikes after the charge if they've hit a heavy. And then...
I mean, yeah, I think the only thing I don't like here is like there's sort of wasted points on Cast Gimp, Trapperkin. I don't think the Twilight Sisters are worth it, and you could trade in those 3 for a unit of Murder Crows.
Yeah, literally.
Like, that's the only thing it's exactly 9. I'd trade that out. It's a good list. It's really cool.
Not bad. And then there's his child brick, so Skin and Bones. 1 Skin and Bones, 2 clocks, 3 clocks.
5 heavies.
Oh man, Jamie, look at this. Skin and Bones, Clockatrice, Cage Rager, Clockatrice.
I know, just to upset you. I like the Gorehound. I do love launching the Gorehound across the table.
Gorehounds with whether it's wailing on is nice. Lovely. Yeah, that's good list as well, I think. Lee's running.
He's managed to pull that off with 2 Defiled Archons as well, 5 heavies and the light. Nice.
Yeah. The extra point squeezed in. I think that's why he has.
It's because he hasn't bothered with Kiriana Rose.
He has, yeah. He's got Kiriana Rose and the Hermit.
Oh, does he have Kiriana there? Yeah, bloody hell. And the Hermit.
Because he's not bothered taking any Crabbits. He's got Kiriana for free, even though she's only
He's got a pair of Crabbits.
Yeah, he's basically
You know what he hasn't taken? He hasn't taken Witchwood.
Yep.
That's where the points are.
He doesn't have any.
Right.
Sad, but true. And he's got his teammate Lee with Cricks. So Cost in Scourge and Tenebra in Black Industries. I'm not really sure what to think of these lists, to be fair.
Why? I don't understand.
I think they're cute lists.
Yeah,
they are there to be cute.
These guys are going to enjoy the event rather than try to win the event.
Like, is the Kraken going to spend more Tenebra's focus?
Yeah, that's pretty much what you're looking at with that.
I mean, that's basically it.
And it's got like the Bruce Rolls and Gatsby to follow up and Slayers and keep him safe. Sean is running Dwarves. If you've ever met Sean, he isn't exclusive, but he's pretty well married to Dwarves. So Ostrom with an Avalancher and a bunch of Bashers. Each caller. I was running when I was looking for like a pair to go with Aurora. I definitely went pretty hard for Ostrom. I tried out a couple of different builds between irregulars and Soul's Fortune. Didn't really give Hammer Strike much of a time, but you get some good options. He gets like Gudrun, Gunner, Harlem, Bamfist. Absolutely, you got like a couple of dwarves with ginormous hammers. You can't really ignore for that long.
Yeah,
they're only speed 4, so you can ignore them for quite a while.
They've got Desperate Pace now, something from
something.
from Godor. I'm pretty sure it gives him something decent.
Yeah, fair.
Right.
And then he's paired it with Durgan Madhammer, and I assume that's just because Sean's crazy and just loves his daughter.
I just want to point out there is 2 max units of Ogren Assault list.
Yeah,
that you've skipped past. Yeah, I think it's just he has got a little bit better, Madhammer.
Yeah,
the change, but
they
are once again
a whole
fun
new world. Yeah, funnest. This next lot are the Warsaw Warmaster guys. So Spooky Elephant Dragon. I have no idea what the reference is. Spooky Elephant Dragon.
Right, so you're not going to believe this.
Oh wait, no,
Spooky.
They're
Pricks.
Scorn, Legion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spooky Elephant Dragon. So Chris Dacker, who won the Paul Sheehan's event on the weekend, won the Wirral Flesh Machine event with one listing. Scabrous is running Scabrous, and Denny won Ghostfleet. I'll say it again. Denny won. He didn't play it, but like it's there. I'm not sure what it plays into.
His one listing is Scavvy list, and he's enjoying it.
Yeah.
I am still horrified. This list drives me nuts when I look at it because the entire list is based on 4 Crix heavies with 0 Pathfinder. Like TK only can do so much.
5 heavy.
You got
5? You got the Seether, 2 Seethers, Erebus, and Deathjack.
Yeah. You do have the crows with the whole TK for backstab stuff early game.
Yeah.
So you've got some bits in there, like. And Scavvy's a deceptively good caster. Right?
Yeah, I think
Scavvy's an excellent caster. He's a TK caster with a damage buff. No, Scavvy's fantastic. I take nothing away from Scavvy.
And the ability to gather souls at distance.
Mm-hmm.
So.
You're allowed to do now.
Yeah. Much allowed to do now. Chris Clares jumped from Ret onto Scorn with Xerxes and Zal. So pretty standard.
Yeah.
I think. Although the Xerxes list has got double cats, who I think are fucking scary. Cats.
Yeah, apparently it's a very good assassin.
Yeah.
Yeah, cats and redeem. I bet
that's man. Those kitties have
like a casual 19 inches and hits you or something ridiculous.
Oh, they're so good, so unbelievably good.
And then the Zal list has got the Mammoth as battle group rather than support. So Rich over on the East Coast, one of the winners of the Boca Brawl team event was advocating the balanced battle group for Zal. So it's much better matchups all around. We did talk about Mammoth being a really nice addition. It's like 6 of one, half of the other. What you wanted. Yeah, that'd be good. It's a good list for sure. And then Jamie Cook Rogers, JCR, Callus 1, and Bethane 2.
Yeah.
So Callus in Primal Terrors with Golab, Blightbringer, and then a bunch of Warmongers, and then a load of Rotwing. If you're not used to playing against Callus, that's gonna also just fuck you first couple times you play against it. Or if he gets a nice board and gets turn 1,
yeah,
that's potentially nasty.
It's another one of those like Magnus. You actually have to play into it to appreciate it.
And then the Bethane 2 list is an Archangel with an Arca, Bethane, Thagros, and Typhon. Like Thagros and Typhon is that like most Legion.
I mean, right? Typhon's still one of the best beasts in the Legion stable. Yeah. He's a nice price point, and his biggest problem is he doesn't fit in enough team forces. That's possibly Thagros's biggest appeal is he opens up Typhon.
I don't feel like you're taking Thagros. I mean, you're taking Thagros, but you're taking Typhon because of the case of most of the casters do better, and just innately having rerolls on Typhon makes it a lot better.
Yeah.
And it
really does
that consistent piece, which is what you always want.
Yeah, this Bethane list is a bit weird to me, just because it's got such a small battle group on Bethane.
It's because you've got the Thagros in there, is why I put it weird.
But the point is he's got 4 tokens to hand out during feat turn, and he
That's
doesn't
Beth
have.
one.
Is that Beth 1 there?
Yes.
Oh, I'm so used to seeing Belphegor there. Oh,
Yeah,
right.
it's
Yeah,
different.
that's Beth 1.
This is,
Okay, ignore me then. That's a.
But that's
then
why
I-
it looks small
This makes.
compared to normal Beth 1.
Okay, Belphegor's not there. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's actually. Yeah, that's a pretty solid list. That's great.
Yeah, right, that's good. Jump on. Next team, Spoon Dodgers, Andy Martin. So these guys are like the Nottingham base guys. So Andy and Kevin Martin do it. Lovely guys, great painters. They come up to our club occasionally, and then Joshua Nemetsky is their merc, who's basically helped fill in the team. Andy's been playing Signar forever. So Adept Nemo, is that Nemo 1?
There's a Nemo 1.
I played this list.
Oh.
I played this list. Nemo 1 with triple Centurions, who you can't charge. Silverline Stormguard, who you can't charge.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's basically, he presents this fucking wall of steel that are unchargeable.
Oh, wow.
It's a bit of a question. And then the second list is Sons of Tempest, Kane with a Hurricane, and a lot of gun mages with various weapons. Pistols and rifles. So
Kane 2, so he's just hunting for assassination, I'm assuming.
Or just kill a couple of heavies every turn. As he does.
Yeah.
And then Joshua is the Crix player, so Scar 3 in Scourge.
Yep, that's Scar 3.
And
Okay, and he's leaning
3.
into the Leviathans. Interesting.
Scar 3, Gatsby 3. Press it. Gatsby 3 with a load of inflictors.
Inflictors.
So got a lot of shield guards, a lot of ways to protect Gatsby and the inflictors with
it's a lot of armor as well.
Yeah,
because the inflict.
And obviously his
their
now
base,
works against Infernals, right? So
yep.
To feed out from essence being spent. So I'd be interested. And Kev's running Malakov, Devastator, Victor, Forsier, Golden Lords, Doom Reavers, and Turnians. Bit of a mix in one winter. Then Sorcerer 3 in Armed Cores. I don't think I've ever seen Kev not have some Mana War in his lists. So that's what he's got. He's got a lovely painted army. And loves his Mana War. Can't fault
Good on him.
Got the Leeds guys coming down. Andy Devine, James Salt, and Tomo. So Crix. Andy's been like championing Crix for an awful long time. So Scar2, Kevin, like pretty much
Scar 1, isn't it?
Scar 1, yeah.
Scar 1, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Scar 1.
Pretty sure that's basically the same Scar 1.
Probably that he's been
pretty
playing
sure like 4 years.
3-4 years, yeah.
Yeah, corrupt. I mean, this is not surprising.
I think the only change in recent years is Gatsby's gone in there instead of I think he's had
you've gained a Gatsby.
He put Gatsby with Stalkers instead of Marauders, I think. That's basically it. I think he'll play that most, and occasionally which Kevin has to come out with something. Salts on Rhett, Ron, and Assyria, both in Forges.
So they're basically the same list, which I want to point out. I think they are the same list. The only thing that I would say about this is there's not a lot of active pieces in these lists.
Yeah. A lot of stuff in both lists to mess with your scenario game, potentially. You can get spells.
Yeah, there is, but it just feels very, very heavily teched, and like there's not a lot that's doing damage, I feel. But yeah.
I think the man scores in the feet. It depends if he gets to get into. But yeah, there's not like a high volume of shots, not like a high volume of attacks. So yeah, and then Tomo's running Kador. So here comes the Vlad 2, Vlad 3 combo. And it's pretty standard.
Yes, indeed.
One void with the Doom Reavers, and the Vlad 3 Judicator. I think I prefer Victor the Judicator, but got Judicator.
I'm a Judy fan still.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I've liked seeing the Victor on the table. But yeah, it's pretty standard. Kador pair looks decent. Then we'll jump across to the west coast, the northwest guys. So Ben fuck 3D Terrain Thomas. playing Minions. So this is his serious Minions pair. He played Minions on the weekend, but it was wasn't a serious one. So Rask and Azello, exactly as
exactly as predicted by everyone. This is
with Barney Swamp Horror.
Oh,
it is terrifying.
Yeah,
it's fucking horrifying. Jesus, this is
all I Love Mirror Matches sheared on the rep. So Falsier and Shade 4.
Falsier and Shade 4, fine.
Shade 4 with Wardens and double Risavas.
I finally faced those Wardens on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Those things are goddamn horrifying.
Yeah,
really, that's a hell of a unit.
There's some scary shit in it.
And the executioners are pretty terrifying as well.
And then Stuart, he's still with us on Twitch. Stuart, the People's Champion Cargill, rocking as always Signar, Striker in Gravediggers.
Oh, that's interesting.
So we'll talk for a minute. So Striker with the double Centurions. We've got the chunky Jacks he can push out there. Maxwell Finn, in case anyone does decide to bring any infantry that you think. Double Trenchbuster, 2 Master Gunners, and then Trencher Commando with 3 Scatter Gunners, Trencher Commandos with 3 Scatter Gunners, Trencher Infantry, double Express Team, which get the extra shots from the gunners, and then
the Risen there. Look at that.
Risen with Murdoch on them. That's a lot of dudes.
It's a hell of a lot of dudes.
A lot of recursion.
Was that sorry, Ian?
A lot of recursion as well. All the dudes going into Lexi. Yeah, fun times.
And with Murdoch there, he's feeding on Alexia and friends as well as the rest. It's pretty solid.
Brought a list that wants to prey on single wound infantry. Steel has brought it for you.
There we go. This is the target for your Thyro list.
Apart from it's then paired with 2 huge bases and high armor. So.
Yeah, so then you drop Thyra and he drops Darius and it all goes to shit.
Double Storm, the second double Storm wall list we've seen.
Yeah, as single wound infantry get back into the game, Storm walls just start smiling.
Absolutely. And then the last team is another bunch
Willy
of...
this team name has been...
Sorry?
The team
name has been changed, due to its controversialness.
Right, do you know what the team name has been changed to?
See if some tiebreaking.
I'll tell you why.
It's actually updated there.
So the team name was Willy Wanker, which is basically the team name is because we as a club sticked around for like an entire week of voting and discussing new club names. And just couldn't fucking decide. So one of the guys was like, "We're just fucking Willy Wankers, aren't we?" So they are Andrew Morris playing Signar, and he's got Major Prime Victoria Haley, so Haley 3.
Haley 3 and Blaze.
Haley 3 in Storm Division though. So a couple of Storm clans of Thorn, Arlen, and Morrowind Archon, Acosta, Hunter on a Journeyman, Stormcaster, and then Stormblade Infantry and Lancers, and Constance Blaze in Flames of Darkness. Andrew loves Constance Blaze. That's basically why he's playing this list. I always loved her.
Right.
But now she's not entire garbage, so good on him. Gav, who was chatting to us, is Night Zhao in the chat. Gav playing Mercenaries. I think this is his last event with Mercenaries. Infernal Zone. So Magnus with a Blockader, 3 Nomads, Nissa, Scythe, Hermit, Orin, Gudrun as support, then Gatsby with another Nomad, and then Eliminators. And then Cross with a Mule, Rosnante, Marvin Mayhem, Alexia, Death Archon, Stannis, and Ironhead, Alberdiers, Steelhead, Heavy Cavalry, Sergeant Nick to recur the Halberdiers, and it's basically like a bazillion special solos that do various things. I quite like Cross. but I think his Magnus list is probably what's going to trip people up the most. Just as they just choke on that amount of metal and the feet. Not pretty. And then Nathan, probably most experienced member of their team. Nathan running Legion, running Animag and Chrissa. Like the Animags, the War Spears in, fasten your seatbelts.
Yeah.
And double
they're not
bad. Double Tariff.
Tariff's weird.
Yeah, not sure why. I'm not sure what's.
I'm not sure.
About them.
I don't think anything has. I'm not sure why you wouldn't rather just have another unit. Or
I mean, 18 points for 2 tariffs, like 15 points gets you Golab, and then you've got 3 points to spend on whatever.
I mean, you don't really want Golab in Animag. Doesn't do a huge amount there. Yeah. You probably want more infantry.
Or more infantry. Either would work. Yeah.
You
could drop the martyr.
An extra max unit and a mid unit of ogres, like 2 units.
Yeah.
Or getting a unit of chosen. Like you've got the points there. The
he's got a unit of chosen. So.
Does he have Warmongers?
Warmongers?
There's the chosen. Yeah. Like a second unit of Warmongers is actually terrible because you can't get a UA, and they really do choke on speed 5 and no Pathfinder.
But you can just take another unit of War
Spears, yeah. And obviously they the Relentless Charge. They get the assault shot as well. They get the benefit from the strength buff onto their spears. Not terrible, and the benefit from the Blightbringer's strength buff as well. And then the Chrysalis though, I've seen it on the table. Chrysalis is pretty tasty. I've seen it. Eat a lot of stuff, and it's got like a credible assassination.
I mean, I feel like this is the same complaint that Ryan had about one of the earlier lists, that it doesn't have a lot of work pieces here. Azrael softens things up, but he doesn't finish things.
The Angelius here can do stuff. Pralix, I've always hated. The Legionnaires are very good.
Yeah, the Legionnaires are good, but they're Legionnaires. They die on the way in as well. Like you can rely on them to maybe get a charge with like 5 in.
Don't know why he's taking the UA for Legionnaires. That feels like a waste of requisition.
Yeah.
But yeah, apart from the list seems okay.
Does the standard still give a mage static?
Don't think so.
I don't think it ever did.
Yeah, I think it gives. It maybe gives Iron Zeal.
Iron Zeal. So Firelord gives them Iron Zeal.
The banner used to give mage static, so it gives them protection against basically debuff.
I think that went from Mark II to Mark.
Yeah, that hasn't been a thing for
quite some time.
A long time. Captain Farlow and Standard. Cleave, blah blah blah, Vengeance. No, there's no mage static here.
They got battle driven. He sticks Dragon's Blood on them, so they go up to
you just don't need the UA. That's the only thing here.
Yeah,
stop us nothing. And the actual unit themselves take buffs really well.
Yeah, they're so much better because they're basically 15 armor, up to 17 in base to base, up to 19 with Dragon's Blood, up to 21 as soon as you've hit the first one. You've got to put a lot in to kill them, and if you don't, then they just Vengeance would. And it doesn't have a pot to benefit from them though, so probably a pot with them if we could. I quite like Brett Simon's Alice 1 in the Dragon list he played at Warfare Weekend. So double Legionnaires, double pot, and Hex Hunters and Archers with
I really am liking Archers.
Yeah,
like those are
for the first time
some
ever.
tasty things.
Yeah, for the first time ever. So
man,
we've gone on longer than we normally do. So we'll do a quick wrap up. So we've gone through a bunch of lists, a bunch of the VTC. If you want to still book in a team for VTC, you can. Absolutely, look up Fishcord. Go start your Wartable journey if you haven't already. It's a fantastic community, and it's a brilliant place to practice the jankiest shit you can ever put together and not have to pay and build 20 Terra Lilith 2 lists or whatever. So check it out. I'll stick the links and stuff in the show notes. Who do you give it for the weekend, Evan? Who's going to win?
Yeah, I hate to do it, but I'm going to do the lazy thing. Like the Felsiren team are just looking too strong.
So that's Paul's team.
That's Paul and his buddies.
The People's Jank.
The People's Jank. The People's Jank aren't taking any jank. They're taking.
Well, Stuart is taking jank, and that's it.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're looking like they got a very nice fucking between them.
They're not messing around.
Yeah, wouldn't disagree. What do you think, Ryan? Who's taking home the trophy that isn't a lump of turd?
I think that the best team lists overall were Brett's teams, so old York guys. I think they're my
old York Sufferer Jets. Yeah,
Suffragettes.
Yeah.
I think they've got an awful lot of game time and experience on their team. So, I wouldn't be surprised. Obviously, my team's gonna win. But what?
Yeah, clearly.
I'd like that situation. I think Owlface have got an option. I think they've got some serious jank. Like they're all like absolutely jank masters. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how far they go. They've got the potential to surprise. I think a lot of people who will never have seen those combinations, and they'll have played them to death. So yeah, that's my dark horse. My dark horse.
I reckon Spooky Elephant Dragon. Bear in mind they're the same meta anyway, but yeah, I reckon Spooky Elephant Dragon will do better.
Maybe, yeah. That's cool. But there you go. So, well, we'll find out in a couple of days. We'll see. I imagine someone will crunch some sort of stats. Oh, but yeah, maybe that'll be what we do next week. Is we'll review. I've got a lot of games I've got banked up to talk about if we want to, and then we'll have the games over the weekend. So maybe we'll do that. And Evan is blatantly coming up on the train at some point over the weekend to play.
Is this now fait accompli?
I think so.
God damn, it's tempting.
Yeah, it's right. Are you guys coming on the train, Ryan? I'm sure that's
we're getting Tom to drive us up on the Sunday morning.
Oh, that's an early.
So I think he's got to leave his. Wouldn't mind it. He's only going to go judge the event. We've just convinced him to drive for the whole thing.
You can just fall asleep then half of it and just go, yeah, that's out. In. Yeah. It's easy, right?
Exactly.
My biggest consideration is actually trains back on Sunday.
Yeah, you're going to struggle because it's a full ground team, so you will struggle to get home.
That is.
Yeah, that's the pain.
Because the event will overrun.
Yeah, likely. Yeah, we'll finish like 8, maybe 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'd imagine. Well, have a look. I'll go. I'll poke some people, see what options you've got. Because it'd be nice to get. It might get you up here, considering you thought you were coming to awesome. The event all along.
I mean, I literally would take the exact list, the exact models that are in my bag now. I'd leave them right there, and I'd just pack away.
You're like, I'm ready to go. That's cool. Right, so we'll wrap it up, and we'll say thank you very much if you watched this. If you listen back to the podcast, don't forget to catch us next week. So probably a rundown of 1 million games that we played, and yeah, we'll be there. So thanks, Ryan, for coming on. Thanks everyone.
That's right, Norris. Thanks for having me.
And we'll catch everyone
pleasure.
later. Good night.
See you later.
Hey, night all. Cheers.